Hello and welcome to the Lost Art Podcast. I'm Garen. I'm here with Paul.
How's things?
And this week we're going to be looking at musicians who also have acting credits. We went there away with a few here that are not like the super mad obvious ones. And there's a couple of ones that like you definitely know. So
yeah, and also some people might be like, "Did you not do that before?" No,
we've done side gigs.
We did side jobs.
Yeah,
we did before they were famous, which did kind of include people like Jason Schwartzman, who used to be he used to be a musician who became an actor. He was in one of them. Then we did non-singer sing. He was some crossover.
We went backwards on that one.
Yeah, so this is not quite the same. Just in case anyone's going, "Oh,
no, we have loads of topics. We know what we done. There's a big list. There's a big fucking list of stuff we've done and stuff we're going to do and stuff we might do. And this is on it, right?
Actually, you know what I found? When we did a non-singer sing, it was mostly like sports people and actors going into music, and the results were actually pretty bad. Mostly,
yeah.
But this I found, a lot of ones we picked, musicians going into acting had a much better rate.
Apparently, I read a whole article online about it's about hip hop artists, in particular black hip hop artists from the 90s that made the change into acting. And they became some of the most successful actors of that time. So you go back and you look at like Will Smith, or you look at even Tupac.
I was going to put Tupac in there.
Yeah. But like apparently there's something about like the mentality, that kind of 90s hip hop mentality, that just meant when it came to acting, they were like, this is a piece of piss. Like, this is nothing compared to the music industry.
I found with rappers what they would do straight away, much like pop divas.
Yeah.
Exact same thing. Pop divas and rappers, their first role would be playing themselves.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of that.
Then they could branch out afterwards, and that's fair enough. That's not a bad way to test the water.
Still
acting. Get them in a movie, and they're not still acting, but they're not breaking their comfort zone. Like from Ice-T to go to like someone who was talking about fucking killing cops to actually being a cop catching killers.
Yeah, exactly. It took every iota of strength I had not to put Ice-T on this list.
I was going to do it as well.
Yeah, I wanted to fucking try and get a few new names on here because we often double down. Now,
me too.
I'm gonna warn people straight off the bat. There's someone I put someone on this list that was on last week's list as well, and I'll be done with them now for a year. Right? This is the last you'll hear.
That's not what I'm worried about. There's someone else you need to be done with. There's someone else. Both of us need to be done with on this list.
Let me
We'll talk about it later.
All right. There's a couple. Therethere is. Yeah. I can see one or two there. That's like, oh, okay, let's get it done.
Listen, to be honest with you, if we're talking about them in different capacities,
100%. Yeah. I got a couple of weird little facts about some of them that are kind of music related that I want to kind of shoehorn in, but for the most part, the way I approached this is I tried to pick people that I've always kind of liked in movies or TV shows, and I might have liked them more in their TV or movie roles than I did their music. And what I've done is I've gone through I've got a little selection of what they've appeared in, and if I've seen it, I gotta tell you if I've seen it and if I liked it. So without fucking further,
pretty much the same. That's pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's the only way to really approach something like this.
Yeah, like really. There were some ones that I thought were standout obvious ones, and then what I did was I went, you know what, we do that too often. We pick the obvious ones when I'd rather talk about something I want to talk about. So we do that. I think we're good at 50-50 in that anyway. So yeah. We're
good at stuff 50% of the time, which is a solid odds. Let's be honest. So without further ado, let's get into it. Who is your first one?
My first one is someone I think has only appeared on Lost Art as a choice once, maybe. I think you might have picked her for duos.
Could be.
Cher.
Yes.
Cher is someone one of the first people I thought of for this, because I remember the first person as a kid who I thought, holy shit.
Yeah.
Cher's great at everything, and she's really likable. Really fucking likable. I don't think she's ever really done or said anything shitty.
She, to be fair to her, she looks like a Fraggle, so you can't forget what she looks like either. She's mad looking.
Fraggle.
She looks like a fucking Fraggle. Cher is mad looking, has always been mad looking, like good looking, mad looking, but mad looking. She looks like a Fraggle. Yeah, she looks like something that fucking man with the cat be chasing. Now that's Smurfs.
Is it like Armenian kind of heritage or something like that?
I don't know. She's just
very Persian anyway, or something.
Very tall with the straight black hair, or then later with the curly black hair. Fucking mad looking face. That's like a good mad looking face. Like it's so distinctive.
Like, right, because now she just gets lied about her face all the time, which I think is unfair for a 70-year-old.
70 years of age. Like, there's only one person's held onto their fucking, onto like something akin to their like youth at that age. It's Dolly Parton. Like, she's still mad looking, but she definitely looks better than the rest of them.
Some people take to the surgery better, and Dolly, Jesus Christ, Dolly, I don't know how Dolly.
She hasn't aged. Immortal, the Highlander. Dolly Parton is the Highlander.
She's another person who's a lovely person as well. Cher and Cher are two of the. So when you look, without getting too much into like the whole history of Cher, she's like a proper what I consider a proper music icon. Yeah. And like most icons, they usually have the ability to excel at all aspects of entertainment. The big three: singing, dancing, acting, and she could always do all that. So obviously Cher's one half of the mid-60s duo, husband and wife folk duo, Cher, Sonny and I'm calling them Cher and Sonny actually because I like them more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm rebranding it. Yeah, I'm rebranding it Cher and Sonny.
He might have been on the playlist about scumbags.
We gave him an awful time anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I said he was glad he's dead, but I don't know.
Didn't he break every bone in his body while skiing, and we were clapping, even though it happened
40
years ago.
Made a difference breaking her bones. So
exactly. Yeah. Here's another one for Sonny.
And it's not her son's husband, so I don't feel about. And I like her son, I like Cher's son, so I don't from Deadsy, Elijah Blue Almond. So I don't feel bad about it. It's like that's not her dad. That's Greg Almond. It's her dad. So anyway, they had to right. I have to admit that she was acting a little bit then. I wanted to do a full transition of singer into acting.
It's hard to do that with the older ones.
Yeah, well, what happens is they got a comedy era, which is not really acting.
Yeah,
it's like they're thrown onto this comedy show. It's a variety thing. It's with a bit of music and it's got a thing.
Yeah.
I still don't consider it. So I checked and I said, okay, hang on. I remembered the breakout movies, so to speak. I thought there was actually a couple more before, and then there was 3 initial ones. So we'll talk quickly about those 3 initial ones, because they don't count. I'm putting it out there that they just don't count.
Yeah,
the first one was called Wild on the Beach. It's like an Elvis or a Beatles film. It's not really a film. It was about like they turn up as Sonny and Cher and it's sing, and
they go wild at the beach.
Go Wild at the Beach, yeah. Second one was Good Times. 67, where they have a good time. Yeah. Actually, really, that was directed by William Friedkin of fucking Exorcist.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't good though. Apparently,
I've got none of those films ever were.
Yeah, and the third one was called Chastity, written by Sonny Bono. Flopped so badly that it put her off making films for 12 years. So that's why I've put her on. She's coming back after a 12-year hiatus.
Can I guess what it is?
Films. What, the film?
The film. Because I remember sharing loads of stuff, but there's one from my youth, from very early on.
You won't know this one.
I won't know this one?
No.
All right. So what year was Mask out?
We'll talk about Mask later.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. Because that haunted
Chastity
me.
Where she plays... we'll talk about Mask later.
Yeah.
This is where she played Chastity. It was a fucking film where she walked around like a songstress with a guitar in her back and looking for gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It flopped really, really badly. So what she did was then, concurrently to the Sonny and Cher thing, Cher and Sonny, she had her own successful solo career at the same time, which was fine.
Yeah.
In the mid-60s, up until like, I think it was about late 70s where things started to go a bit bad musically. She didn't have the same hits as she usually did. So Robert Altman, of all people, were like, do you want to be in my movie? Now, Robert Altman's actually one of my favorite directors. I absolutely love his films. She went in the star in a couple of other ones. We'll talk about that. And he'll come up again later. In a film called Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean. Now, I've never seen that. But Robert Altman does millions of types of movies. Also, not watching a film from the 80s called that. I might do. Maybe I won't. So, after 13 years, she came back and decided, right, we'll give it a go. That film was actually received pretty well. And she had a follow-up to that called Silkwood with Meryl Streep and Kurt Russell.
Weird.
Which actually did pretty well. Yeah. And she was nominated for an Oscar for that.
Really?
Cher was.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I remember as a kid thinking, sorry, the next one is the one I'm thinking, Cher, this is the first time I saw Cher, and it's the first time you saw Cher as well. You just said it, it's Mask.
Yeah.
It's the first time I saw where Eric Stoltz, who we know now was playing Rocky Dennis. And I remember thinking, holy shit, she's like amazing actress, like really good. Even as a kid, I loved Mask. I watched it loads. Now it did scare the shit out of me.
Scared the fuck out of me. I was too young to know what was going on.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I was weird. It was on telly one day.
Yeah, that's exactly how I saw it. I rented it. I
ran in and I was like, "Ma, what's happening on the telly?" Went, "Oh, that's Cher." Went, "No, not Cher.
The other fella."
Fella. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, this is the Rocky Dennis film. It's really good. Watch it." And then I just thought I had to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought she didn't make but then you know what? There's loads of bits in that film that are brilliant. He was dating a blind girl and they kind of all worked out because there was no stigma about how he looked and stuff like that. And he was teaching her how to like feel colours and stuff.
I always just, there's one scene where he's like lying on the bed and Cher is like sitting on the bed with him or something like that, and that's it was one of my like earliest memories of actually like watching something and it not being like the A-Team and there being explosions and helicopters and shit. You know what I mean? Because when I was that age, that's all I watched.
Hiring and prostitutes and all.
Yeah, there was mad shit going on in that film, and I'd seen it a bunch of times because I remember when it was on the telly. Everybody started talking, like all the fucking parents were talking about it, and obviously, fucking if like that age bracket are talking about it, somehow it gets back to the TV station. Like, geez, we've done all right off Mask there. Let's show it again in 2 weeks' time for the country who missed it 2 weeks ago. You know, so it was just one of those things that was always on for like RTE or something like that, BBC.
It was always on.
Yeah.
They actually got nominated for Golden Globes, the two of them, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I don't think they weren't up for Oscars, but I don't know what was out that time.
Because I think was that like a TV movie or was it?
It was a TV movie, as far as I know. Yeah, so that's maybe why Golden Globes. Golden Globes, you get that kind of more often with TV.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the movies after that were Suspect with Dennis Quaid, and then Witches of Eastwick, which I actually realised that also scared the shit out of me as a kid. That film,
was great. For some weird reason. That was great. There's a bit of resurgence of that actually at the moment. People talk.
Witches of Eastwick, I think they're not remaking it.
That could be. Yeah.
Oh no, hang on, they're not. They're remaking Death Becomes Her, which is the movie that's for some reason always got
same job. Yeah,
sort of close enough.
Same job.
The next was the big one. The next one was the big movie. That's Moonstruck. Where she won. The movie won. She won Best Actress.
I forgot about that film completely.
So that's massive. So remember, at the same time, she doesn't really have any massive musical awards today. So she made the thing. She's still making albums, but none of them are doing particularly whopper now. Because right now she doesn't really care. She's winning fucking Best Actress at the Oscars.
She jumped medium and she's doing well. So stick with it.
Best screenplay and best supporting actress for Olympia Dukakis, who was unreal in that film. I watched Moonstruck last year again. It's a fucking brilliant film. It really
I haven't seen that in forever.
Simple film, yeah. They also both of them won Dukakis and Cher won Golden Globes. So a year later, she was like, "Right, let's kick the music back up a notch again." And If I Could Turn Back Time came out, which is a banger. I don't care what anybody says. Video's outrageous. She's wearing absolute mad gear. Kids in the background playing guitar on a ship. So that's a massive
video.
That was peak Cher. So that's 89. Yeah. Around 88, 89. That's peak Cher where she's just won an Oscar and had a song that went, the number one for ages.
She's probably in her 40s as well.
Yeah. I don't know, yeah.
And she's wearing all that clobber and she's like a denim jacket or a leather jacket on with like some sort of over nothing. Riding a cannon. Riding a 50mm cannon or whatever it is.
So that's when she did another 92. It was like 3 years later. She did another Robert Altman film, The Player, which is still massively regarded film. Yeah, it's one of my favorite Robert Altman films as well. She didn't do the next film that he did in 93. So Robert Altman did three bangers in a row. He did The Player, Shortcuts, and Pret-a-Porter. She was in The Player and Pret-a-Porter, but she wasn't in Shortcuts, which is my favorite. Weirdly, my favorite one aside from The Player. That not no one fucking really loves. She wasn't in that. She went on to do Mermaids, which was monster because the film was monster.
Huge.
And then she had a number one for about 8 years, which is Shoop Shoop song.
Yeah, Shoop fucking song. Oh, you're knocking monster, dust. Yeah. You're knocking dust off shit in me brain here. Right? Oh man, Mermaids. That would have been just after Splash. When Splash was huge, do you remember?
No, Jesus, no. It's 10 years. It's over 10 years in the difference between those.
Oh man.
So Splash was like 81 or something. This was 1990.
But wasn't there a bunch of those movies where there was like stuff like I think there was like where something changed into like a bog standard woman. There was loads of those films.
Mermaid and Mermaid stuff.
Yeah, but didn't she go from a mermaid into a woman or a woman into a mermaid? There was a bunch of these films like fucking Weird Science.
I don't think so. As far as I remember, Mermaids was no actual mermaid in it. No, that's just it's a metaphor.
Is it? What's the film about mermaids? And there's Splash, and there's another one.
Splash.
I need to open up me.
I'll double check, but I know that it's the Christina Ricci's debut movie.
Yeah, because I remember it's about her kid or something. You plow on there.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. So 9 years later, it took for her to win. In 1999, she won her first Grammy with Believe, which is not a good song. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get it, and it was one of the big. If ever we do a comeback, like artists that did a monstrous comeback, Believe would be up the top. With maybe like fucking Green Day, American Idiot second as monstrously huge comeback songs. So she won a Grammy for that. The album is whatever. One of the reasons I chose her over Lady Gaga is just because I like Cher more. It's just simple. Yeah. So in the last 2 years, what she's been doing recently is she released an album called Dancing Queen, which actually got mad good reviews. I'm not going to be going straight into that because I know it's got the cover Dancing Queen on it, because 2 years before that she'd been in Mamma Mia. 2017, 3 years ago, she got inducted. Sorry, I Got You Babe, the song, was inducted into the Grammys Hall of Fame.
Jeez, remember that as
well. She is a Tony Award away from the big EGOT. Do you know what the EGOT is? This will come up a few times in this, I think. EGOT is the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. She's got the Emmy, she's got the Grammy, she's got the Oscar, but Tony is notoriously the hardest one. That's the Broadway one. That's the one you don't just get given by accident. You have to do fucking the most work for a Tony. So I don't know if Cher will ever have a Broadway, a Tony, you know what I mean? I she did the Mamma Mia film. She didn't do the fucking Broadways.
It could be a bit late.
I don't even know if Mamma Mia ever did that. But that was. Did you find out whether she was a mermaid in that film or not?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't have my glasses on me, and I'm having trouble here.
Yeah. No,
I found the cover of it, and she looks a bit like a mermaid, but she's definitely not a mermaid. She's wearing some weird shit. But the writing is too small right now. I'd say I'm almost certain it's not about mermaids, so I have it confused.
No, I think it's about like a mother trying to hold her.
Yeah, it's about a mad kid or something. That's what I'm reading here.
Christina Ricci and Winona Ryder are actually really. But that was Cher. I have a lot of time for Cher, and I'm glad to put her on the playlist.
Absolutely.
But she's one of the people that's, like a lot of female pop icons, they are hugely involved in the LGBT community. And equal rights and stuff like that. But I always feel like she was one of the really, really earliest ones to do it. And also, she refused to play Russia because of that.
Oh, very good.
So
fair play, Cher.
Fair play, Cher.
Fair play.
Also, though, even if you didn't agree, you don't want to lose half your fan base. But also, I do honestly believe her being mad sound. She just seems super cool. That is Cher. Amazing singer and really genuinely great actress as well. So I think she deserves to be at the top of my list. Who's your first one?
My first one is originally it was Harry Styles. And then I realised Harry Styles. Yeah, well, it's not even whatever about it. It's just to get a new name into the podcast fucking legend. But
and so we can say, how do, fellow kids?
Exactly, how do? And he's only done one film. He done Dunkirk. That's it. Now he had a big role in Dunkirk. So I ended up just scrapping him. He was in a couple of bullshit fucking things as well. But I scrapped him. I put John Bon Jovi in. He was maybe 5% better, and. Maybe 5% better. So John Francis Bon Jovi Jr.
Bon
Jovi.
Pretty sure that's like Madonna's second name as well.
I think it's not far off actually. Yeah, Bon Jovi Jr. Born in 1962.
She's Bon Madonna. Bon Jovi Madonna.
Fucking crazy name. It's deadly. Half Italian, half Serbian or something. His family, mad weird combo of things going on. So everybody knows John Bon Jovi. Again, I'm not really here to talk about his music, but what I want to cover real quick is that he is his cousin is a guy called Tony Bon Jovi, and he was a massive record producer in the 70s and 80s. Now, we didn't know this until very recently. He was a huge record producer. And he produced records for Jimi Hendrix, Gloria Gaynor, the Ramones, Talking Heads, Ace Frehley, Shirley Bassey, Aerosmith, Ozzy Osbourne, Bon Jovi, the Goo Goo Dolls, the fucking across the belt. He done Rocket to Russia and Leaving Home for the Ramones, and he done Talking Heads 77. He also done Bark at the Moon. Like, this is the level of fucking producer we're dealing with. So apparently when John... I keep going to call him John Bon.
John Bon.
Yeah. But when John was a young
Bonham.
Exactly, yeah. John Bon Novi. When John was a young
it's Bon Giovanni.
Bon Giovanni, yeah. Giovi. There's no A after the V.
He should have called his band Bon Giovanni.
Well, apparently that's what he wanted. He wanted to call the originally the band were called something like Fresh Eddie or something like that, and his mates were like,
they always have these mad. Yeah, they always have those mad names where you're like, get rid of that.
No, don't.
Except
do that.
Aerosmith probably had a better name.
We probably had a better name. Yeah. It's Bon Jovi because there's no A or anything like that after the V, so it ends on the V. So it's Bon Jovi, which is just the weirdest fucking name.
You just said it was Bon Giovanni.
No, there's no A or NN.
Or right.
Yeah, it's just Bongiiovi. Bon Jovi. It's a mad fucking name. But yeah, his cousin of his brought him in to work in the studio, and he was a young fella. And he was just sweeping the floor and learning how to be a tape op or whatever it is. But Tony, his cousin, the record producer, he was involved with this guy called Mecca, who was he would have been a fucking like one of the big remix guys in the late 70s, early 80s, and they were given the license for Star Wars. So all of these like fucking Star Wars remixes of all these fucking Star Wars remixes, like disco remixes of the theme tune and shit like that would have been sold to like discos and the people at home. Were all made in this studio by your man Mego and fucking and Tony, John Bon Jovi's cousin. So John Bon Jovi's first ever gig was pretending to be R2D2, was singing a Christmas song. So the song's called R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
He has it not too bad Christmas song himself, actually.
Yeah, it's not the worst. But yeah, so his first ever professional gig like was pretending to be R2D2,
fucking mental.
Which is fucking insane. But yeah, he's actually, it turns out as well, he's related to Frank Sinatra, somewhere in the family tree, which is fucked up as well.
By the way, we should say there is so many links in this podcast tonight. People linking back to other people.
Well, actually, John Bon Jovi is responsible. You see, you know, what we were talking about, if we could turn back time and all that big comeback album for her, that was produced by John Bon Jovi. Him and her are like bestos, like apparently like balls deep, like not like riding, because he's had the same fucking wife since the 80s. He's one of the only happily married people in the world. And,
he seems like a good dude.
He does come across as a decent fella.
I remember the first time I saw him. I won't say where the first time I saw him in acting, because presumably it's going to come up now.
Might do, yeah. It might do, but I always came across the decent bloke. But yeah, he's kind of one of the people responsible for like egging Cher on. Saying, you can fucking do it, Cher. Come on, well, let's put some fucking bangers together. So yeah, he produced that album for her. So apparently, the band Bon Jovi was always run a bit like something like the Dropkick Murphys, where there's like a band leader and everybody else is paid. Right?
All right.
That's the way he always ran it. That's why when fucking was it Richie Sambora and all, when they all fucked off, it wasn't that big of a deal. It just wasn't. So I just get someone else in, because
it would look weird though. If I went to a gig,
definitely look weird.
Bon Jovi, he wears a new little like. He looks like he's dressed as a geography teacher, and obviously he's not going to wear that live now. But
yeah, well, he's mad. He doesn't dye his hair anymore. He looks like an actual geography teacher now. He's grey, white hair, and all. And so everybody just gets paid in the band. So apparently, whenever there was like some sort of disputes over royalties or whatever, it was like, that's grand, and you just fuck off and get someone else. You know, that's just the way it always was. So apparently this opportunity came up. This Young Guns 2 came up, and they were cited. I think we might have talked about this in the podcast before. Someone asked, someone put the word out, we need a fucking theme song for Young Guns 2. And John Bon Jovi was like, well, listen, I fucking love the Young Guns, so let me give me a day or two. And he runs off and does fucking whatever the Young Guns bleeding song is.
Blaze of Glory, wasn't it?
Blaze of fucking Glory. Like, it's actually the song I picked, you stupid cunt. All right.
That's a great song.
It is a great song. So he wrote that in like 2 days or some shit like that. And came back.
Well, lyrically, it sounds like he wrote it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it really matters, does it?
It doesn't.
It's a savage riff, and the chorus is fucking huge. But it works for this type of fucking movie. I was actually thinking I need to watch Young Guns or Young Gun and Young Guns 2 again very soon, because I loved them films. They were very much one of a kind movies back then. So I'm going to watch them again. So apparently he was on set when they were shooting it, because they came up with the song kind of while they were shooting it. So his first kind of acting credit, his first proper acting credit, is that he gets shot by a baddie.
I remember that. I remember going, John Bon Jovi's going to be in the film.
Yeah, he gets shot like in the guts and lets out a roar and falls. That's his first ever fucking work. It's basically a glorified extra. So in the 90s, there's a bunch of these movies where it's like So the way I always look at these kind of musicians in movies roles is that there's two kinds. There's the ones that make the biggest deal about a musician being in them. So if you remember, like Vanilla Ice done Cool as Ice and all this kind of shit, where it's just a vehicle to sell records eventually.
Like I said, like
that Cher one, exactly.
Cher's early stuff with the Beatles and Elvis, and
exactly. Yeah. Like that's so you've got those type of ones where it's just like it's a joint music video, or like it's just to make that person look cool or get them into fucking another medium, maybe make it for next to nothing. So hopefully sell a shit ton of copies, and you know he gets another album out, but doing some fucking songs or whatever, sell some singles.
They're basically heating up one iron off the other.
Yes.
This whole playlist is really about people that tried to bounce, or else just made a full break for it. But yeah,
exactly. So you've got those type of movies, and you got the movies where they're actually trying to act, right? Where they're like, I actually want to be an actor and I want to do this properly. So the ones in the 90s that John Bon Jovi were in were definitely of that one kind. Like they were definitely your fucking you know, it's John Bon Jovi and some woman on the cover cuddling, and it's like a rom-com or something, you know. They meet in the rain after John Bon Jovi plays a gig with his imaginary band or whatever the fuck. It's all this kind of shit, you know. So it's essentially to give female fans of John Bon Jovi an insight into what it would be like if you were to actually meet Bon Jovi and got with him. Like, you know, oh my God, this is the way it would play out. There's a load of those type of films. It's fucking nonsense. Because he's a good-looking man, you know what I mean? And people fucking loved John Bon Jovi.
He does have a symmetrical face that is roundy in the right places.
Exactly. So when it gets into the kind of early 2000s, this is when Bon Jovi starts going like, you know, I might actually be into acting a little bit more. I might do some actual acting as opposed to like the fucking faff that I done a couple of years ago. So he does U571, which is a fucking super submarine movie. It's a fucking great movie.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, he's in there. He's in Pay It Forward. And my personal favourite, he's in Vampires Las Muertos, which I fucking love. The vampire series of movies, right?
I remember him having like a good stint in Ally McBeal.
He was in Ally McBeal for a good while.
Good long stint in it. I used to watch Ally McBeal, even though it's not great.
It's no, that's not good at all.
Super white. The whitest show ever at the time, I remember. It was so
incredible. And she was fucking weird looking as well. She looked like she was fucking dying all the time.
She did kind of, yes, yeah.
Didn't she?
Happened to her? What happened to her?
I don't know. Maybe she did die. Because she looked like she was dying every single episode. It was like someone feed her and put some vitamins in her. Show her the sun. That's it. She was.
All I remember now is that from that she was a lawyer and baby screensaver.
Don't know. All I can tell you is that whenever I seen her, she looked like she needed a feed and she needed to be left out in the sun for an hour. She was just see-through and there was nothing left of her. Like cheekbones were like horns coming out of her. But Vampires Las Muertos was the second of the Vampires kind of trilogy of movies. The first one being done, written and produced and directed by John Carpenter. The first one is James Woods, and it's a fucking fantastic movie. It's great bullshit.
Oh yeah,
great bullshit movie. It's going in that period of as Carpenter's kind of on the way out. He's like, I don't know what like the world doesn't really want my type of schlocky kind of horror anymore. And
idiots.
You made exactly.
Him stop. You made him stop.
You made him stop, exactly. So like it's around the time he would have been doing for Ghosts of Mars and stuff, which I like as well. Which also has another musician that has Ice Cube, and I always enjoyed that movie. And another just bullshit throwaway movie. They're all perfectly fine. If you remember as well, another tenuous link back to music from there is that I think Anthrax done the theme song for Ghosts of Mars, starring Ice Cube, which is a weird one. Which is actually a good song, Anthrax. That would have been John Bush here, Anthrax as well. So Bon Jovi does Los Muertos, which is the second in the Vampire trilogy, and it's not directed by John Carpenter. It's a guy called what's his name? Thomas Lee Wallace. His name is Thomas Lee Wallace, and he's been like a co-collaborator of John Carpenter for years and years, like going all the way fucking back. He always like produced or helped write all of Carpenter stuff going back. So Carpenter said, listen, I'm coming up with this idea for a set of movies. Here's the first one with James Wood. You can be like an executive producer on it, and then I'm going to hand over the reins to you, and fucking off you go. You take the sequel and do what you want with it. And he wanted John Bon Jovi to play the lead role.
You want John Bon Jovi?
Exactly. What a weird thing.
I'm out anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So Wallace says, I want John Bon Jovi to be the main guy. He brings him in, They make one. There's a third one made by someone else. I think Wallace and Carpenter just put their hands up by the time the third one came out.
What a hot potato property there.
Exactly. Guys. Well, I think there was just too much interference with whoever. I think it was New Line or something like that were making it. But like, we can't make the movies that we want to make. So just here's the fucking third one. Here's the rights of the third one. And apparently the third one has nothing to do with the first two, because the second one's connected to the first one. They kind of continue on the theme. Now, Bon Jovi was the movie did not do well, right? The movie did not do well.
I, for one, am shocked.
I'm shocked. John Bon Jovi has never been in a film that done extraordinarily well, right? It just hasn't happened. But he was lauded for his performance. They were like, he's actually pretty fucking good. Like, why don't we like look at John Bon Jovi for a few other bits and bobs? So eventually, like I said, he goes off, he does Sex and the City, which I was surprised to find out this week at nearly 40 years of age. It's Sex and the City, not Sex in the City.
Yeah, I found that a couple of years ago, and I couldn't really believe it.
Mind blowing, and it's forever going to be Sex and the City for me. I don't give a fuck about Sex and the City.
We should talk about the second one of those movies, which I haven't seen yet. We should do one of those things where we commentate while we watch something for the first time. Apparently we should do it. Anyway, go on.
Really?
Actually, Sex and the City, that links your first one to my third one.
There you go. So he does Sex and the City, he does Ally McBeal, he does The West Wing, he does 30 Rock. I don't think any movie, I had a quick look, it looks like no movie that he's ever been in has gotten above like 25% on Rotten Tomatoes.
He's not a good luck charm for films.
He is absolutely good, but God loves a trier.
And it's not his fault, really, actually.
It's not his fault. He's just, some people don't take like particular fucking musicians seriously. You know what I mean? They just don't. Like, look at the probably, for me, probably one of the most successful crossovers was Will Smith. Yeah, but Will Smith like
obvious for this playlist.
It's way too obvious. But like, he was acting and rapping at the same time.
There's a lot of people that want to go for it. They were already. I'll get into it later.
And he was acting to pay a massive tax bill, or else he was going to jail. So like, he had to force himself to get mad famous. So we didn't get.
Oh God, can you imagine Will Smith's jail albums if he had turned out differently?
Yeah, we covered him before. He only cursed once ever in a song. Once.
Yeah, probably an accident.
And it was a shit or something like that. It was like, I'm sick of your shit. Hey! Or whatever the fuck.
Will, chill out.
Will. Relax, man. Will you put the gun away, Will? Put your guns away. Anyway, that was John Bon Jovi. Who was your next one?
My next one is this is mad. Young Marky Wahlberg from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
I am old enough to remember when Marky Mark was like not an actor.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. I do actually, genuinely do. It was like 1991.
Yeah.
He was briefly in New Kids on the Block with his brother Donny before starting his own rap group, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Man, so white. It is the white.
Painful. Painfully white. He was so white that every time they took a picture of him, you had to have black people in the photo as well. Like every photo of him.
Yeah, well, that's what you do, but that's
everyone done that. To be fair, yeah.
We'll get into that. That was 91, and he had lyrics, not in his particular song, but there's a reason I'm putting these lyrics out. Never wanted to rip a rhyme this much in my life, but mugs act trife and try to live super cool. Freeze them, though they might as well be frosting.
What?
'Cause I'm the baddest white boy in Boston.
Wow.
Now here's the weird thing. He was the baddest white boy in Boston.
Yeah, he was. Dangerous, evil, horrible fucker, yeah?
So we'll have to get into that now.
Deal.
So
shout him the lie. Shout him the lie helmet.
Now, so 3 years before this career we talk about, he was a 15-year-old coke addict, racial fucking, he just tormented people racially.
Yep.
And he went to jail for it.
He did.
So on numerous occasions, he was found literally targeting black and Vietnamese people, racially abusing them and kicking the shit out of them, knocking them out and everything.
Marvelous.
So I had to put that in there. Had to. Like, I can't get into it talking about, like, he's starting his career in rap 3 years later, talking about being the baddest white boy in Boston when he's literally catching charges for kicking the crap out of the fucking military marine, not marine, ex-military guy, Vietnamese guy. I think he, for as far as I know, for like the US military. He was a private, like.
Wow.
So, look, that's a ropey past. But we'll talk about what happened in the years since then. Okay, so
yeah,
he had a little after Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Yeah, sorry, my mouse is flying out. So
what a name! Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
That disbanded in 1993. The last appearance actually was a song "I Want You," which was featured on the Super Mario Brothers soundtrack. Now that film is a dumpster fire.
It is
of epic proportions.
Top level.
He started a project with Prince Ital Joe. Is that how you pronounce it? You might know that guy.
I know the name, I've never said it out loud before in my life.
He was a reggae musician who was also weirdly starred as like a henchman in a couple of Steven Seagal movies, but he was also on Death Row Records and appeared on a Don Machiavelli album, Tupac's.
Deadly.
Well,
like I said, I've read that name, but I've never seen it.
No, I've seen it as well, but I never really looked into it. So a year after that, he made his TV debut in the film The Substitute, which was meh. But then he got the role of Private Tommy Lee Haywood in the Danny DeVito movie Renaissance Man, which I thought was okay.
Yeah, it's all right, yeah.
At the time, it was grand. But then I remember him from Mickey from the Basketball Diaries, which got him kind of really good reviews, enough to get him his very first lead role in Fear, which if you're on Netflix right now, you'll see it being pimped right at the front. I saw Fear years ago. It's good. He plays a boyfriend who just starts to turn really, really bad, really... He's a bad boy. And not in the Marky Mark and the Funky. So that was 94. A year later, he's starring as a main role in Dirk Diggler and Boogie Nights, which he was, I have to say, incredible.
What a film.
It was almost like what he lacked in acting sort of came through as
it was better,
the naivety as a porn star, just getting into it. Yeah. He's been nominated for Oscars twice, 2007 The Departed and 2011 The Fighter. One neither, because he's a big racist. Here's a couple of the missteps as well, like right that.
Yeah.
In 2004, he made comments about the September 11th attacks that he instantly had to take back. Really? He said, "Well, if I was on that plane with my kids, it wouldn't have went down like that." He said it would have been a lot of blood in that first class cabin. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to land somewhere else safely.
Listen,
don't worry
Marky,
about that.
You're going to land the plane yourself, Marky, yeah?
And then afterwards he wrote, you know what, that's a stupid thing to say. I don't know what people were feeling at that stage in
that's
the heat of the moment.
The publicist grabs him and just shakes the fuck out. Just shut the fuck up, Marky Mark.
He also repeatedly tried to get pardons for the convictions for the race-related stuff. And he then apologised for even asking for the pardons.
Really?
Yeah, because there was people, his victims were coming out going, like, I don't really know what you want to. He's not asking the pardons from them. He's asking them from the state or whatever, which was weird. He came out and said, "Okay, I shouldn't have asked. I should just still own what I did." I think he's trying to erase it from
his record,
history,
get it expunged or whatever they call it.
Because he's a huge producer, like now of movies. He produced Entourage, and then he actually did In Treatment, the TV show, which I really love with Gabriel Byrne. But he is no doubt a great actor. And, you know, he actually, I really, really did think
he got so good, like, to be fair, he got so good. He
plays that slightly removed, overthinking or underthinking Boston fucking hard guy.
Yeah.
I really liked him in I Heart Huckabees. I think he was
He, you know what, he wasn't even that bad in those fucking Transformers films. He really wasn't. Like it takes a particular type of actor to know that, like, right, you might have like your face big on the poster, but like something that doesn't exist in the real world, this giant Optimus Prime that's like half robot alien thing is like the lead actor here, and you have to fucking run around for 6 months in front of a green screen and like act to nothing. It takes a very particular type of person to do those big kind of 3D CG throwaway popcorn movies, and to not like could just throw the towel in. You know what I mean? It takes a particular type of person to do that. But he done that M. Night Shyamalan movie as well, didn't he?
Signs or one, not Signs.
The one after Signs.
Village or something.
The Knowing or something.
Oh, the one where the famous GIF where if you don't understand what someone's saying, he used that where he's looking up.
Where the planet like fights Marky Mark. Yeah,
he has the perfect stupid face when he wants to do that stupidly. Like I don't think he's. I think he's great. I think he knows his limitations. I do think he's got a mad ego. Like he puts himself into roles that You can. Like, I noticed that articles would always go, Mark Wahlberg is interested in playing, and he'd be like Muhammad Ali or something. Like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
Don't be a dope. Wasn't that? That's just an example. I'm saying he always seemed to be putting himself into mad stuff. I'm pretty sure he played Max Payne in the movie about Max Payne.
He did, yeah. He did.
Yeah, I'm never going to watch that.
Don't watch that. Do not.
That was Marky Wahlberg, who I have a kind of love-hate relationship. I didn't know how deep his Boston racist shit went, but that's pretty fucking grim.
Boston back in the day, by all accounts, like an absolute hellhole, and that's not to excuse him. It's just he might have been a fucking. He might well have been.
He just made hell worse for people who are already in hell.
Exactly.
He's passing on his hurt to someone else. Not cool. But I don't think the way to make amends with that is to then ask for pardons over the heads of the victims. But whatever. Look, fucking hell. Look, I still like him as an actor, producer. I still don't really know what producers do. They're the ones that make all the shitty deals and all the shitty phone calls, I guess. Maybe make sure things are edited the right way. But
I think so.
That's my second one. Marky Mark. Who's your next one?
My next one is someone who was on the podcast last week. But we only touched off. We touched off some of his kind of acting credits.
Just in case anyone was listening, he wasn't on the podcast. But I always say that as well. When I go, like, we chose him for the.
Yes, exactly. We picked a song of his and talked about him, and it's Meatloaf. He's back again.
Imagine on the podcast. Lost Art Podcast. Yeah.
Meatloaf is back again. I picked Dead Ringer for Love. I should probably tell people what songs we picked as well.
It doesn't matter.
I know. It was just I actually picked this song because it's not very good. But the main reason I picked
it's about 6 hours long, isn't it?
All of them are. Yeah, all of them. Wagnerian rock, I believe it's classified as.
That's right. Yeah, like Wagner being like the big epic kind of composer. Yeah. So it's
Wagnerian rock. Jesus Christ! But I picked that song because Cher is on it, and I knew that you picked Cher, so we'll keep some links between the two of them. Also, what's fucked about that song? If you're going to listen to this song, just listen to like 3 minutes of it and turn it off because it doesn't get any better, right? And but at the start of it, I don't know whether that's Meatloaf or Cher singing. I don't know. They're so close to each other, right? The honest to God,
she's got a notoriously deep.
I couldn't tell you who it is.
Kind of voice.
I couldn't tell you. I was listening to it earlier. I was like, I don't know who that is.
Well, I'll tell you. You'll know by who. Like Meatloaf has to warble a bit more, the vibrato kind of thing. Cher doesn't have to do that. So
apparently Meatloaf got signed by a record label because there was a rumor doing the rounds in the Los Angeles kind of soul scene that he blew out a monitor while singing. Like he set a monitor on fire. Yeah. He was so loud. Like he belted it out so hard that a monitor exploded. So all the record labels were like, fuck, we have to get hold of that cunt. Like he's like, I don't know why loud equals good, but that's the legend. That's one of the reasons.
Because they can play certain other venues. That was the thing with Iron Maiden, where Bruce Dickinson said there were certain singers who you wouldn't be able to hear at the back of a venue.
Really?
No, I don't know how that makes sense. You couldn't sing louder than a fucking monitor or a speaker. Yeah. But apparently, like his thing was, I want people to hear my voice as well as my amplified voice. So I don't know, maybe that's part of it. I don't know. It sounds like these roadie fucking stories, man.
It could well be. So yeah, if you want to hear about like Meatloaf's early life and his music career and all that, you just jump back last week to Epics, and we cover Battle of the Hell, the song off Battle of the Hell album, and the whole Jim Steinman kind of debacle. But suffice to say, he's one of the best-selling. Has one of the best-selling albums of all time. Apparently, and I read this in 3 different places in the last 2 weeks. I don't know how fucking true it is now in 2020, but Bat Out of Hell still sells 200,000 albums annually.
Don't know, but I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to rationalize it. Or
no idea. Now, again, you have to include digital downloads and CDs and whatever the fuck. But apparently,
including streaming, it would probably be streaming more than that. So I don't know. Yeah.
I have no idea. But it sells 200,000 copies per year, apparently still. Which is, I don't know. That sounds a bit fucky to me. That sounds like he'd be, like, in 2020, it sounds like he'd be.
Maybe that's right.
I don't know. It's like, would that not put you in the fucking charts now? Like physical sales?
For albums?
But I don't know whether like charts now include streams. If they include streams, forget it. But if they don't include streams,
they all do. But maybe what it is, it's hanging below the 50 level, and we just don't notice it.
Maybe
hanging in the murky water, like a 51.
Either that, and it just gets taken out after a certain amount of time. We covered Prince before. Prince had something in the charts for like 7 weeks before. They must just take it out. They have to just take it out, make room for somebody else anyway. So we gave a brief synopsis last week of his musical history and the kind of connection between Meat Loaf being much in the same kind of vein as Cher, being one of these kind of singing, dancing entertainers. That's what he wanted to be. And his musical career is kind of absolutely 100% connected to his acting career, because he got famous. Like the whole Bad Out of Hell album was made because he got a job. He got a job on stage doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah,
and I think his first proper known acting credit on a movie would have been him playing Eddie on Rocky Horror Picture Show as well. So you'll hear I have Bang Bang floating around up here. He's crawling around between my legs, he's hiding from the fireworks again. So if you hear weird noises, it's not me. It's a dog. So they're fucking torture. So Rocky Horror Picture Show was his first one. That was 1975. By 1979, he done a movie called Americathon, which is John Ritter and fucking Fred Willard. It's kind of a comedy. And when I seen the cover for it, I was like, I remember that. You'd know the cover, 100%. You'd know the cover if you've seen it. He went on, he done this weird fucking Roddy McDowell movie called Scavenger Hunt with Vincent Price, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it as well in 1979, which is a weird one. I've never seen that. He done one called Rowdy, which I seen, which is a musical comedy. That had like Hank Williams Jr. and Alice Cooper, Blondie. Fucking, that was his first proper star and all. I think I watched that. I didn't watch it in 1980 because I'm still living in my dad's balls, but I definitely seen it a couple of years later. Probably about 10 years later, I seen it. It must have been on TV, or it could have been one of those fucking poxy VHSs that somebody recorded off the telly and left in their granny's house.
Happy to watch it. Look at that on the telly.
There was nothing on telly. Telly stopped at 11:30. Like you got the test screen until fucking 6 o'clock the next morning. Do you remember when telly was over? Like you'd stay up late and telly would be over. Like that's in the way back when. By the 90s now, telly was.
It would have that funky music on UTV.
And a clock showing the time. That blue screen with a clock. Yeah, it was over. He done a movie called Out of Bounds, 1988. So then he goes on, he does loads of kind of shitty cameos. Around the kind of late 80s, early 90s would have been like the absolute peak of musicians doing those type of fucking garbage movies I was talking about, your fucking Vanilla Ice stuff and your fucking John Bon Jovi nonsense, where it's just a picture of whoever the musician is on the front of it, and who knows what the story's about. He stole a truck and drove it across America. Can he find love or whatever? Whatever, you name it. Fucking, he was a scuba equipment salesman in Idaho where there's no water, and he makes a move to Long Beach, California. Join us on this fish out of water story, whatever. It was whatever type of absolute bollocks, that script that somebody could buy for a tenner. And they were like, this is going to, we're just going to right, Alice Cooper's in this now, and we're going to sell it off the back of Alice Cooper being in it. So we done tons of those, but it was first big one into let's see, kind of pop culture. His aside from Rocky Horror Picture Show, let's be honest, because that's fucking huge. His first big one.
He was in I think before he was in that film, wasn't he in the stage show?
He was, that's where he got signed to do Bat Out of Hell as they were.
Right.
He got signed to do that while he was doing the stage show. I think he might have been playing two characters in the stage show. He was doing Eddie and someone else. I can't remember. His first big one was 1980. He was Wayne's World. He's in Wayne's World, and. So people, kind of early 90s, people start kind of remembering shit from 10 years ago, because there's a massive difference I always find with the music. Like, think about, there's not a massive difference between the music in 2010 and now, 2020, right? Like, a lot of the same artists are still kind of floating around. But whenever I think of 1983 to 1993, so much has happened in music that there's valleys between them. There's still artists that covered both of those decades, but there's valleys between what's popular now and what was popular then. And that definitely would have fucking brought him up into back into kind of zeitgeist of cool kids. I knew who Meat Loaf was from the music. I didn't know anything about Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, he's such a unique character. I can't really think of anyone else like Meat Loaf.
No, I can't.
As a character, he's got that powerful. Elton John is probably the closest thing.
Probably. Again, it's Elton John. I think he done some acting, but it was all garbage. It was all cameo stuff, wasn't it? Yeah, done a Snickers ad and all as well.
Rocket Man.
Rocket, exactly.
I watched 20 minutes of it and I turned it off.
I watched it. It's whatever. It was fine. 1992 does Leap of Faith with Steve Martin and Liam Neeson, which I loved that film when I was a kid. About the Faith healer.
I can't remember that now, to be honest.
Yeah, I loved that fucking movie. He done a weird one called Black Dog with Patrick Swayze as well in 1998, which is kind of fucky. And that leads to the 1999, which is probably his most famous role, and that's Fight Club. He does Fight Club with Brad Pitt, Ed Norton, and Helena Bonham Carter.
Robert Paulson.
Yes. It's just so fucking... He's so good in it. Like, that was real acting he done in it. Like I know that's like cheapens everything else he done. He's fucking brilliant in it. He's fucking amazing.
He had to suspend my belief that I was watching Meatloaf, which is a hard thing to do considering he's got breasts. But it worked, and I did forget for a minute.
He's Meatloaf. Yeah, he's just a big lad that's gone fucking mad, and they've given him a fucking way out. And it's so fucking good. Like, it's so Jesus Christ. Now I didn't like Fight Club when I first watched it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
I came out of the film. Going, well, that's nothing's ever going to top that.
Really?
Of course it did, because I was young.
Yeah,
every kid. Like, Fight Club has a bad fucking feel about it now because people go, "Oh, did you think that was the pinnacle of films as a kid?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, but that's okay because I thought fucking Videodrome was when I saw that as well." Like, whatever, you go through phases of thinking that is the best film you have ever seen because that's how fucking your life goes on. You dope.
I watched Videodrome about 3 weeks ago. It's so good. It is amazing.
But I know it's thinking about Fight Club popping up where people slagging.
People slag Fight Club because it's fucking. You see two kinds of people slagging Fight Club. I don't hate Fight Club. I just wasn't mad at it when it came out. But I don't like Seven either. I don't like Seven, the movie.
That's a great film.
I just don't like it. I don't know. Just never done it for me.
It's the same reason. Like, it's not even Fight Club fans. Where like they're the Fight Club fans are the movie equivalent of Tool fans. So that's the problem there. They went on about it going like, "Oh, you just wouldn't get it." Like the way Donnie Darko did as well.
I hated Donnie Darko.
Yeah, Donnie Darko. I don't think it's as good as people.
No, it's not. It's not. Now I fucking listen. I've read most of fucking Chuck Palahniuk's books and all. And I enjoyed fucking all of them. I didn't read it last two. Just having that time. But I've read most of his books over the years, and I get what he does, you know, like fucking Bukowski on acid instead of wine. I get it, you know what I mean? I like it, but I don't know, there was something about that film, but I have learned to like that movie over time. I think I had to like break the skin of it, much in the same way as like something like Sixth Sense, where once you get the kind of twist at the end of it, it's like, okay, now we can just watch this as I'm not trying to figure it out. You know, I'm not doing a crossword. I just love
the David Fincher style of insomnia fucking directing where it's just lights flickering.
Those fucking lights, man. Yeah. There's always mold in the corner and the light flashing. Yeah. And so he does Fight Club in 1999. Gets real fucking big again after that. People started talking about Meatloaf. He goes on, he does, I think one of the last big things he done was the 51st State with Samuel L. Jackson and Robert Carlyle, which is actually not a bad film either.
It's got Anfield. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm happy.
That's right.
It's not.
Yeah. I enjoyed it at the time. It's another one of those kind of standard early 2000s. Came out on DVD and I bought it. I never seen it in the cinema or anything like that. I was buying stuff off cdwow.ie, you know what I mean? Because they'd sell shit for the $5.
Do you know what? It's funny because I listened to the exact words you say, but and this kind of sounds weird. But most people I mentioned that movie, people go, "Yeah, one of Adam Sandler's best films." Like, no, not 51st Dates. 54th.
The 54th State. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, they roll off tongue the exact same way.
Yes.
Bon Jovi, Bon Jovi, you
know? Yeah, that's right. But TV-wise, he's done a load of TV stuff, actually. And he didn't always play himself, which is one of the things that was interesting about it. A lot of these musicians end up playing themselves on, especially stuff like Ally McBeal and fucking shit like that. They end up just, you know, they walk into a scene or someone's a lawyer and their firm is representing them. It's like, oh, here's fucking Vince Vaughn or whatever. Like he done a bit of that, all right. But like a lot of the time he played a character. He was on the Equalizer, the original Equalizer, on TV. He had a role in that. He was in Tales from the Crypt.
Jesus.
Yeah. Tales from the Crypt. Which everybody done a Tales from the Crypt.
Like, I was going to say, I can see that
at some stage. He done a couple of episodes of Nash Bridges.
Oh, do you remember that? I used to watch that the odd time.
Oh, I watched it all the time.
It was grand.
Loved a bit of like fucking that shite Sky One Monday night garbage. Big fan. Big fan of all that. There was another one that I think might have been like. So you had Nash Bridges and Walker Texas Ranger and all that type of shit. There was one There was one with Sammo Hung, the fucking Chinese kung fu guy. He was a mate of Jackie Chan's, and I can't remember what I think it was a spin-off of either Nash Bridges or Walker Texas Ranger, and he got his own show where he was like a copper.
Yeah. It sounds slightly more like Nash Bridges for some reason.
I have to figure that out, and it's bothering me because it was a great show. I don't know how long it ran for, but I was always a big Sammo Hung fan because I loved all the Jackie Chan movies. And Sammo Hung was like, because he was a big giant fucking flabby cunt, and he was doing backflips and all. Yeah. And he was just deadly to look at. What else did he do? He done Outer Limits. Obviously, everybody done fucking Outer Limits. He done Masters of Horror with John Carpenter. With John Carpenter, I was one of the directors from Masters of Horror. To be fair, John Carpenter's Masters of Horror episode was probably the only good Masters of Horror episode. He done Monk.
I need to go back and try and remember. I can't remember much about it.
Masters of Horror, the original run.
No, the Carpenter episode. I know it's a lot of the best one.
It's definitely the best. The rest of them, man, whatever. And then he done a couple of episodes of Monk as well, which is always Monk was fine.
Monk's a great show.
Yeah,
Monk's a really good show.
Exactly. It's fucking. You're never going to turn it off because it's always interesting. It's written well, it's acted well. Everybody done that. But that was Meatloaf. Like I said, I wanted to run through a couple of bits and pieces that he done because he's done a fierce amount for a guy who's like mostly known as a singer, as a musician. Like his list. Again, I just reeled off 20 titles there, and that's fucking a quarter of what he's done. He has a massive fucking list of acting credits, like monsters, and he's worked with some great people, like fucking John Ritter and Vincent Price and shit. Like
he's a likable guy. For the most part.
Seems like he's fine.
He's fucking bat you if you're not pulling your weight or whatever. Because we'll get into that now in a minute.
Fucking eat you. Who's your next one?
So the next one is someone who was relatively unknown singer on a Disney cruise ship who went from having, in the space of 4 years, when people finding out who she was, in the 4 years, Oscar and a Grammy. That's mental.
Wow.
So some people will know automatically who I'm talking about. It's Jennifer Hudson. She, 2004, she was working as a singer on a cruise ship, Disney cruise ship. Tried to
in a cocktail bar.
Decided to sing a try out for American Idol season 3. American Idol's obviously at the first 5 seasons were the ones where you really could make it. But probably further on as well. Maybe I don't know. Like all things, the person who won it didn't beat. Like it's a race or it's a battle, not a war. No, it's a war, not a battle. Fuck it, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's a war, not a battle. Yeah.
Yes. She didn't win the show, but she gained a massive, massive following from that. People really liked her. I remember I rewatched her audition for this. She did an Aretha Franklin song, and she came out. She had loads and loads of confidence. And Randy kind of threw a question at her: "Is you're going to have to be better than like a cruise ship singer?" And she was like, "Yeah,
no problem."
Question to throw at someone. It's like, well, that's literally what I am. So I have to be better than what I am. Stupid bastard. Yeah. Anyway, she sang that and blew them away. That was 2004. And a year later, without being signed, without winning American Idol, she tried out for the role of Effie White in the Dreamgirls, the Broadway kind of thing they made into a movie with Jamie Foxx and Eddie Murphy and Beyonce. Tried out for that, got the role.
Deadly.
That's massive. Still, no record label. I will say this, she had a record label before she went on American Idol. It was a tiny one where it didn't release anything. They were like, she was like, I have to leave this record label so I can go on American Idol. And they're like, yeah, whatever. We're never going to make a see there. Like, born. Anyway, she went on, did that movie, was absolutely fantastic in it. And it's a good film, despite the fact that her big song in it, I Won't Go, whatever it's called, it kind of grates on your ears. Because, you know, when someone does a high note in a song, they can't do it 7 times. That's too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Just pick your one, like Dear Whitney Houston, where you know it's like fucking, I don't know. I was going to say Tony Hawk. So
stop hurting me.
You do your big move in wrestling or whatever at the end. You don't do it at the start and over and over again. But she did a fucking great job at being in that movie. Won the Oscar. Unbelievable. This was still before she was signed. The whole idea of the movie is that how great a phenomenal of a singer she is. Still not signed. So again, before she was signed, one of her first performances on a record was Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell 3. on the song "The Future Ain't What It Used to Be," and it's actually quite a good song. I was watching some clips of it. That's where I came up with the idea that Meatloaf might be a bit of a fucking prick in the studio, but he's just more of a get the fucking thing done.
Yeah,
and he's fair to him a couple of times. He fucking went, "That was my fault. That's roll again."
Yeah.
Then he's like, "Cameras, sorry." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, Cameras." No, he was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Meatloaf's a bit of a dick." He's not though. He's just getting shit done. So on Bad Out of Hell 3, before she's record label, finally someone signed her. And I think it was 2007.
Yeah.
Now I say finally someone signed her. I'm sure there was people banging her door every single day. She's on Meatloaf. Meatloaf obviously either saw Dreamgirls or was on this Come Get Her on. So who signs her? It's Clive Davis, of course, of Arista Records. So he signs her to the J Records subsidiary, the one that Aretha Franklin was on. If anyone doesn't know Clive Davis, it's a really good documentary about now. I think it's Songbook, could be the name of it. Talks all about Clive Davis as an A&R man, a guy who signs people, a kind of talent scout, and sort of someone who brings people up. He signed Janis Joplin, Bruce Springsteen, instrumental to start his career. Signed Pink Floyd. Whitney Houston really brought her up. Westlife randomly as well. So we knew her debut was going to be big when it did eventually drop in 2008. And being put into, when you got a voice like that, you don't put them with a crap producer. You don't put them with crap songwriters.
Yeah.
She gets a Grammy straight away. Best R&B album. So that's 2008. So in a 4-year period, it was 2004, she tries out for American Idol. 2008, she's got her Grammy and Oscar. That's fucking insane. That's mental. So, like I was saying, like Cher, she got the Oscar before she got the Grammy, which is mad when they both started out as singers. 2008 was massive for Jennifer Hudson. I have a lot of time for her. I really like the vibe. She seems quirky and kooky and stuff. And just full of confidence. So 2008, Oscar, Grammy, Golden Globe, signed to her Heroes label. Just got engaged to NXT wrestler David Otunga. I don't know much about David Otunga. But, so that's like the pinnacle of your life being the best it could possibly be.
Yeah.
And then the next day, the worst your life could ever be.
Oof.
When the full-on dramatic music kicks into the documentary at this point. Her mother, her older brother were found shot dead at their home in Chicago.
What?
An Amber Alert was sent out for her nephew, who was her sister's 7-year-old son, who was missing from the house. 3 days later, the child was found shot dead. And the stepfather, Hudson's older sister's estranged husband, was charged and found guilty of the triple homicide, just three life sentences in a row. So that's like after your life going literally. So a month after she was engaged, after all the shit being absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Your ma, your brother, and nephew from some psycho lula. And I watched I did a lot of research on this one because I really wanted to know like how you bounce back from that.
Yeah.
When your career is just taking off. And I watched her on Oprah, and she was like, "Oh, I don't blame him at all. He had an awful upbringing. He had nothing to look forward to at all. I don't really blame him at all." But, holy shit!
Wow.
She's like, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think that gives him a reason to do what he did. But as far as I can tell, I never liked him. She goes, "I never liked him," but I knew that he had nothing. I never had anything going from her. Like, I'm like, fuck, that's
fucking hell.
I don't know how she overcomes that, because the year after she has an album out, and you know, I don't think Jennifer Hudson's songs have been. She had a song Spotlight, it's pretty good, but I don't think it's weird. She's got the Oscar, she's got the thing. She is so fucking talented.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe, you know, this might be me being old and not realizing that the bangers that let's say Cher or Britney Spears have, whatever like that. So in 2013, she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is actually pretty cool.
Very cool.
The song that changed her life, the one that she auditioned to, was an Aretha Franklin song. Like I said, she ultimately was chosen then to star in the biopic by Aretha Franklin, handpicked by her to do it. And then when Aretha Franklin passed a couple of years ago, she sang at her funeral. So it's been a really mental ride of 14 years for Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
Mad. I have a lot of time for her, like I said, absolutely amazing Dreamgirls. I liked her from the start. And she won the Oscar and Beyonce didn't. So. Who's your next one?
Another fucking Disney star, child star, who kind of went up. It's Miley Cyrus.
Those are two different starts in Disney. To be fair,
yeah. Miley Cyrus. I picked Party in the USA because it's fine. So obviously Miley Cyrus kind of started off as an actress doing Hannah Montana. She's from 2006 to 2011, and that was one of those kind of singing, dancing, acting, like fucking Billy Barty School of fucking Hollywood type of bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what and not only was it singing, dancing, and acting. You're talking about like books, video games, fucking like movies, like you name it, like fucking clocks. When I got to Poland and I stay in her grandmother's house, which is we stay in her grandmother's house for like a day. Well, we wait on our rental house to be ready. We always arrive a day early. The spare room that we stay in has this Hannah Montana clock on the wall, right? And I swear to God, it's the loudest, cheapest bag of shy ever. And it won't refuse. I've been going there for years, and this thing is going to outlive us all, this clock. Probably still has the same battery and all in it. Probably runs without a battery. It's fucking painful. So I know Hannah Montana's born into my fucking head. I didn't know. This is stupid because, I mean, again, it's not my era, not my knowledge. I didn't know it. And I did not know that Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana were the same person, right? Until a couple of years ago. It just, I had heard of Hannah Montana because I have nieces, but I'd never seen an episode of it. Like, I was out of the house by the time my niece was really born, you know what I mean?
I think I learned about Hannah Montana and unlearned it before I learned and unlearned who Miley Cyrus was.
Quite possibly.
Neither one hooked I cared enough about to put those two connections together.
Yeah,
it's like someone saying, "Did you know this connection goes with that cable?" I'm like, don't care about either of those two things, so
exactly,
I'll never know that.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't care.
Exactly. So it's like, I think it's around 2010 where she starts kind of shedding this good girl image, right?
Yeah.
Where she's going under her own name. I think she had like a crossover period where she was like fucking Miley Montana Cyrus or something weird like that. She had like
I'm pretty sure I thought she dropped it all in one go with that.
I think there was like one album where it was like Miley Cyrus sings Hannah Montana or something like that.
That's right. She was easing it in.
Yeah, there was some like exchanging of batons there somewhere along the line.
I'm not sure Disney. I don't think Disney were too happy with that.
I highly doubt it.
They didn't really see what was coming.
Yeah, well, of course they didn't. Jesus Christ, no one did. So around 2010, she's just like, I'm a hero now, and I'm just going to start hearing and get me tits out and just being mad. And the world's like, holy shit, like, this is savage. Not because she's hearing and getting her tits out. It's mad refreshing to see someone that, like, came from, like, the fucking school of Minnie and Mickey, like, actually living a fucking life and enjoying, like, if their entire, like, childhood was spent on sets and getting tutored in fucking trailers and, like,
like, presumably Hannah Montana's like fan base were then wearing similar clothes to raves or whatever they were.
I don't know what they were doing.
She's grown up the way they're grown up.
Exactly.
So people want their pop stars to be the next generation's idols as well.
Exactly. It doesn't work like that. People evolve and they move and they grow up. Exactly. So by 2010, she's like
find cocaine. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So by 2010, she's like, I'm over this. Like, I'm fucking done with this. I'm going to do my own thing. So we covered her. I think she's been on the podcast twice.
This is her fourth appearance.
Yeah, could well be. Talked about our music stuff again. You want to find out about our early stuff and the stuff she's done with Dead Pets and all that I like. Come on, find that later on. We're not doing that today. So she's, as I said, she's always doing fucking acting. It's always been a thing. And she kind of slowed down. She seemed to make the conscious decision to kind of stay in the family business and say, I'm going to be a musician. And every now and again, do you know what? I might just do a little role. That's kind of cool if I think I'm going to like it. So I think that one of the first things she done would have been Big Fish. She was in Big Fish.
Yeah.
With Ewan McGregor. She was in that.
Yeah.
She done a movie called The Last Song, which is another one of those, you know, she's on the cover. Will she find love? You know, working in a little fishing town like this type of thing. Whatever the fuck it's about.
She's also a singer.
Yeah, it's one of them garbagey fucking nonsense
you
things.
You can use their talents if their talents are spread across to
she does The Night Before, which is actually, I actually like that movie. That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen and Anthony Mackie. She's in that. Yeah. It's just a garbage kind of. I think is it a Christmas film? I can't remember. I think it's a Christmas film or a New Year's Eve film or something like that. Yeah. But it's just one of them garbage kind of stonery drug movies, which I do enjoy. That are fun all the time. She's done a great fucking. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't seen it, but by all accounts, it's very interesting. A thing called Crisis in 6 Scenes, which is a mini series that was written and directed by Woody Allen for Amazon, and she was in that.
Woody Allen.
Yeah, I know. Let's just not talk about Woody Allen. But
God. How old are you again? Oh, yeah. God, no, oh God, you're too old. No, you're too old. Oh God.
I don't think Woody Allen gives a fuck about fucking little children anymore. He's too old. I don't think that part
just
of his
makes
life
him more into it.
Maybe. We're going to make a movie about it instead, how he felt about it 30 years ago. But apparently that was very interesting, that Crisis in 6 Scenes. It's supposed to be real fucking weird. Which is
just quickly, I wonder, like, we're talking about I wonder how many times we've ruined someone people loved on them.
Maybe
podcast.
Maybe
like right now, Marky Wahlberg. People are finding out he used to batter people, screaming the N word at them, knocking his shit.
I think he killed someone. I think he killed someone.
No, he didn't.
Did he not?
He knocked someone out badly with a piece of wood in the back of their head.
Attempted murder or something like that.
As we were just saying this, like, I'm thinking, I wonder how many people, like Woody Allen. Like, I wonder how many people we wrecked. Like,
maybe, but you know what? You can't. If you like someone that much, you should know.
True, and also the truth is the truth. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, like I only found out today about that rapper I like, Kodak Black. How much of a scumbag he is. Can't listen to him anymore. Can't listen to any Kodak Black songs anymore. Can't do it. And I literally only found out today.
What's his name? Fucking that rapper. Jesus Christ, my brain just gone to shite now. I was sneezing for ages while you were talking there. I put the volume down. I was like sneezing. And I came back and I swear to God, I think I've lost about an hour. Of the last hour is gone now.
Another scumbag rapper.
Remember, fucking, he came back with that big banger with Mark Ronson. It was like, who did that? Juice.
Oh fuck, Mystical, yeah,
he's mad scumbag.
Oh yeah.
So him,
watch yourself. Yeah,
I was going to pick him on a podcast a while ago.
So
I read up about some of the stuff he's doing. I'm not picking him. I'm not promoting him anymore. Now.
Feel good in this motherfucker. Feel right. What a song.
But anyway, so I ruined myself. With this podcast, I ruined him on me. So yeah.
Happens to all of us. What the fuck? Yeah, so she done that Woody Allen thing. She was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well, Volume 2.
I don't like that film.
It's fine. It's all style and less substance to me. Yeah, I enjoyed the first one an awful lot, but the second one was like fucking Ninja Turtles 2, where it's like, just say Cowabunga again, just say it 18 times.
It just looks the part, but it doesn't feel.
There's nothing in
it. It just, it looked it and didn't feel it.
There's not much in it. It's fine, like it's grand. 2 hours of garbage, and Kurt Russell's in it. I could pretty much watch him in everything. Even on this, he's not even being very Kurt Russell-y. But it's just that dumb bananas numbers, that movie, just because it's the second one, like, you know, and every character in it, everybody likes, you know. So yeah, like I said, 2010, she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go heroin for a couple of years. She's sober now, actually. She gave up gargling a couple of years ago. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't smoke. She nearly wrecked her voice drinking and smoking, more so smoking, and like going out in sessions for like a week on end. Like, she sounds mad now. Like, her voice is proper. Like, it's all gravelly and shit.
I remember when she was like getting into that row with Nicki Minaj at the MTV Awards. It's like, and another thing, this one over here talking about Hannah Beck. What's good, man? He's like, you know what? I didn't say. You know how the media twist things.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I didn't say. What the fuck?
Yeah.
She sounds like bleeding.
She done mad damage. Yeah, she done mad damage to her vocal cords. She actually had her vocal cords, I think, scraped out there a couple of years ago. She had like an operation on her vocal cords.
All the Mickey's guys.
Yeah, all the fucking jip and hash resin and fucking whatever else.
I'm gonna catch some heat for that. I'm sorry.
Like, whatever it is, I had to scrape all that off her fucking vocal cords, and she still doesn't sound right. But she wanted to concentrate on fucking singing and riding. Off she goes. She just got divorced there, didn't she? Was it Chris Hemsworth or something like that?
I don't even know who she was married to. Fucking
Thor's brother.
That is. Oh yeah,
easily,
right.
Yeah. Oh no, he's Liam Hemsworth, isn't it? Or Chris, right, yeah, Chris Hemsworth is Thor.
Chris is Thor, yeah.
And Liam, I think Liam Hemsworth, his brother, I think he might have been acting longer than him, but he's like the younger brother. It's something weird there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Who cares? So she done cameos in Sex and the City 2, as you were talking about earlier.
That's right. I meant to mention that Jennifer Hudson had also been in the movie Sex and the City as Carrie's tech-savvy PA.
She done. There was a billion fucking Miley Cyrus kind of on tour documentaries and stuff like that as well. Like that's not really acting.
She's mad sound.
By all accounts, she's fucking
mad bang on.
Yeah,
like how many? We know loads of girls that are just like, oh, look, I do this mad job. Let's talk about it. But I go nuts on the weekend. Now they don't all have a camera in their face unless they're putting it in their own face, like which a lot do for the Snapchat stories. But maybe Miley's just like regular.
But I think she's definitely settling into being regular now. I think she had her fucking 10 years of batshit.
Didn't we all?
Yeah.
Not when I had the money to do the things. Like, Jesus Christ, if we had that money, it would have been silly.
I'd be dead. I'd be dead now. It wouldn't even take that much more money than what I earned to kill me.
I know,
let's be honest.
So, if anything, Miley Cyrus is actually more responsible than the two of us put together.
Quite possibly. Well, she also had like a plethora of fucking record label scumbags and bouncers probably around her, you know, pulling her off the fucking the skip of cocaine that they just bought or whatever.
Putting her on it,
yeah. Who knows? She was in one particularly good episode of Black Mirror as well.
Still haven't seen that episode.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I don't think Miley Cyrus is a great actress. She's fine. I've ever seen her in.
I bet she's not.
She's just.
I haven't seen a single thing she's been in.
Yeah, there you go.
I genuinely haven't seen 1 second of her acting, but I can imagine. I actually like some her songs are grand. I like when she annoys people in the media, but yeah, I haven't seen a single.
Yeah, me too. That episode of Black Mirror is very interesting. She kind of plays two versions of herself or something. It's fucking weird. Of course, it's weird. It's Black Mirror. But
do you know what though? Like, I can't do the thing where people my age still get like excited about this. Like, a pop star is doing a thing they wouldn't normally do. Like, man, I've seen this since the 80s. I've seen it since Debbie Harry was fucking in Videodrome. Yeah, I've seen it. I love when that happens, but it's good.
Do you remember how good Debbie Harry looked in Videodrome?
Maybe,
especially when you're a young fella. Jesus Christ! Like,
no, what I'm saying is, I've seen, people still get super excited about Lady Gaga being in American Horror Story. I'm like, why? Like,
American what?
Mad American Horror Story.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was good in that though.
No, she was good in it, and like she is. I'm actually surprised. Maybe. Well, I can't give it away. Maybe she will appear in this episode. I don't know. I know she was.
I doubt it.
I know she was. Maybe she is actually. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, like you were just saying, it's like she's thrown into Black Mirror. I think that all fucking people like me think we're fucking clever for watching. Do you know what I mean? I was done as a pop star on it.
Yeah,
and same way fucking Ed Sheeran turns up in Game of Thrones. And like, okay,
do you remember that? And he starts singing a song as well. Even to make if he was just in it, it'd be all right. But he has to sing a song. Shut the fuck up! Stop making this terrible show worse. But the thing about Miley Cyrus for me, the main reason I picked her is that I think she's like the prototype for the modern age. Kind of, as we're talking about Cher, that kind of all singing, all dancing, all acting type of thing. Because you've got. It's fucking 2020, her kind of heyday, let's call it 15 years, right? So it's 2006 is when she started Hannah Montana. And it's 2020 now, let's call it flat even fucking 15. Let's say fucking, like you've got other mediums as well that she's active on and doing stuff on. So she's not just like on the Disney Channel or whatever, Minnie Mouse Club or whatever the fuck it was she's doing. Like she's on the fucking internet as well. So she's just producing
8 different lunch boxes with her face on it.
Exactly. But she's just, you can imagine like that poor girl being whatever the fuck she was, 15, 16, and just like, right, at 6 o'clock in the morning, get up. You've got to be here in half an hour, and you don't get to go to bed till 12 o'clock at night. And it's just bam, 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 because the internet people want to talk to you.
Do drugs, uppers, downers.
Of course you are.
All the crazy pills that kids do nowadays.
Yeah.
Uppers, downers.
I love saying
uppers, downers.
Ciders. Like it's I can't. Anyway, listen, that's fucking. It's Miley Cyrus. I just think she's like a prototype for like the modern era kind of all rounder, proper multimedia star, you know. But she's not a very good actress. God help her. Who is your next one?
My next one is someone I've wanted to have as a choice again, much like Cher. I know you picked Cher before, but I've never picked this person. Neither of us have. No. It's one of my favourite artists of all time, musically. Not so much acting, but I love the films he's in. It's Tom Waits. The unmistakably gravelly voiced blues jazz singer you may or may not know. I've been a massive fan of Tom Waits since as a kid. I think my dad was into him. My brother-in-law went, he's like, Tom Waits, I've got an album, and it stayed in my gaff. It was played once a day. Whenever my mom was cooking or something like that, Tom Waits' Closing Time was on CD in my 80s and 90s, late 80s, 90s, let's say, was on. I was like, oh my God, like that song, Martha, is one of the, that's Martha's the song I picked. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard, and it's really sad because he's like, are you calling up an old ex and asking her how she's doing, and it's a one-way phone call? Unreal. And it is. Yeah. It's still to this day one of the saddest songs I've ever heard, and I absolutely love it.
I tell you this, I'm ashamed to admit that I have never in my entire life listened to a full Tom Waits song.
What?
I know I have to. He is on the list for one of the podcasts we talked about doing ages ago, and that's people that just passed you by.
Oh, right.
Just for some reason, no one in my circle had any interest, and no one ever mentioned them to me in my formative years. And it's,
if you think about the way I just said it, like it was just in my kitchen.
Yeah, I never.
If it hadn't have been, but that's the thing about Tom Waits. He's not. He's kind of a cult kind of.
Very much, yeah.
People who know Tom Waits forget that other people don't know him at all.
Yeah.
He's not Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
He's about one 1,000th of maybe the popularity of Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
I couldn't tell you. I just know that from the bits I have heard, like, I listened to this song earlier, but I didn't get to listen to all of it, and it's amazing. I never heard it before.
If people don't know this song, it's the one that's referenced in Batman versus Superman. His man's named Martha, and I think he's very sorry. I'm burping like fucking mad tonight. It's disgusting. I feel like Miley Cyrus at a gig or something.
I don't give a fuck.
No, but like I've been a fan. I genuinely, like I've been like a massive fan. I'm not getting tattoos of Tom Waits, but I remember when, like, even in the 90s, he had what I would consider a slightly grunge phase as well. It wasn't even. It was just that album Mule Variations came out in '99, which was a long time. Grunge was long dead. And I remember loving that. It was like one of the first digipacks I'd owned. 99, around mid 90s to 90s was when digipacks were a thing. Saving on plastic, saving the earth. Woohoo! And I
remember digipacks came out and everybody was mad for them.
I loved them, even though they get wrecked, but they're
wrecked the minute you get them.
The
second you take it out of the fucking the film it's in, you start noticing all the dog ears and the cardboards fucking smushed in one corner. Like they're never immaculate.
And my copy of Mule Variations was pretty bad.
Yeah,
it's got Big in Japan, that's on it. Hold on, and it's got What's He Building in There. I want to be there the first time you listen to the song. What's He Building in There? That's what we'll do on our show. That you will already have heard. People have already heard. So. He won a Grammy for that Mule Variations, his first Grammy. He won it for the category of Best Folk Album, and he even was like, I'm happy to win a Grammy. I just didn't expect it to be for a folk album.
Yeah.
And he just said, whatever you want to call it, I'm glad I won it, whatever like that.
Yeah.
He's got other great albums, Hard of Saturday Nights, Swordfish Trombone, Rain Dogs. He has a monstrous discography of huge albums, but he's also starred in some of my favourite films, which is kind of crazy because whenever I see his name pop up or something, I get this. I know he picks his projects really well. No, he does. I mentioned earlier that Cher was in two really good Robert Altman films, Pret-a-Porter and The Player, but the one she wasn't in the middle was Shortcuts, but Tom Waits was in that. And I remember in the 90s watching Shortcuts going, oh my God, I love Tom Waits, and Tom Waits in there. And he's playing like an alcoholic limo driver who's married to like Lily Tomlin. And he does a lot of the same character a lot, but he's fucking good at it, man. Like really good. He's worked with some of my favourite directors of all time. He's worked with Jim Jarmusch, Terry Gilliam, the Coen brothers, and like I said, Robert Altman. He's been in some of my films that I just have a lot of time for. When I used to be much better at watching films than I am now, like way better.
Yeah.
I used to watch for people don't believe me when I say this. For 10 years, I watched 3 films a day.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
Straight up. When I was working, when I first I was a DJ. Exactly, I was a DJ. So I got up and I watched 3 films, and I knew every. So I'd get every year. I would get like the lists of the best movies from.
Like I watched
Robert Ebert's list from I think he worked for Chicago, something like that. I'd get his list, and his list would be the best list.
Yeah, like I watched an awful lot of films, and I had up until a couple of years ago thousands upon thousands of DVDs, and I gave them all to charity shops. I was like, fuck all this. And I kind of regret that a little bit now, because there's loads of stuff that I want to watch and I have to go fucking rooting around the internet for it or whatever.
No, I set myself on a really bad kind of road where I was sitting down watching films all the way through and loving them to the point where I went, you know what? I have a load of graphic design work to do from home.
Yeah,
I'll stick on a film, but I don't want to put a good one on because I don't want
to I done that as well,
in the background. So now all I watch is garbage, and I wait for a good time to watch a good one that never comes.
Never comes. Very hard.
Never comes. So I have to literally sit down and really. So back when I was doing
and hide the phone and everything, like if you do that.
Another thing, I wasn't addicted to my phone back then.
Yeah.
My phones were crap.
Yeah, they were doing nothing on it.
Yeah. So Wrist Cutters, A Love Story is a really, really underrated film. I like that film a lot. He's in Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's in one of my favourite films from the late 80s, 90s with Terry Gilliam, The Fisher King with Jeff Bridges. He's in Seven Psychopaths. He's in The Simpsons as a voice, and he's in The Ballad of Buster Scruggs by the Coen Brothers. Like,
he's great in that.
Yeah, he is. He really fucking is. He's actually, I don't know how much effort he actually puts in.
It's like he just say them words and like, all right, but what am I? You're the weird miner that's been out on his own for ages.
Yeah.
Go on, roll the cameras. Jeez, that was amazing.
I think it's just his voice is so good.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, musically, he's got like quite a good cult following, and I find that a lot of the films he's in are the same.
Yeah,
has a kind of those films are like a lot of Coen Brothers movies are big, but they're cult.
You know what? Now that you mention it,
Gilliam is cult stuff as well.
I've definitely seen him in more movies than I have heard songs of his.
Yeah,
how weird is that?
He's not for everyone. It's like
I guarantee you, he's for me. I'd
say he is.
Haven't done it yet. I guarantee you, within the next fucking 2 years, I'm going to be all fucking. Did you know this about Tom Waits to you? And you've been shut up, you'll slap you.
He's great. He's like a more accessible Captain Beefheart, tonally.
Yeah.
But look, that was Tom Waits. He's one of my favorite musicians, and I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite actors, but I love when I see his name build because it has that cult star effect. And he's not in big monstrous films. Okay, he was in Mystery Men. That was his biggest film he was in. But those movies, like the Jim Jarmusch, Terry Gilliam, Coen Brothers, Robert Altman, is the perfect association with his music, even though it's not related to it. So yeah, that's Tom Waits. Who's your next one?
Yeah, next one's a big one, and it's David Robert Jones, aka David Bowie, or Bowie if you're a cunt.
He's better than I thought he'd be.
He's pretty good. Born on my birthday, the 8th of January in 1947. I was not born in 1947. Is 1947 when the UFO crashed in Roswell? It was.
Supposedly.
Definitely did. Died on the 10th of January 2016 at the age of 69. Bango, stop digging. The dog is digging a hole now in the ground. Relax, man. Relax. If you're barked or something, you could be on a podcast. But no, you just dig on the ground, prick.
Yeah, by the way, if you hear Cat Smoke, he's on the kind of mad one. The back garden's getting dug up, so he hasn't He hasn't got his regular hand, so he's kind of a bit thrown off. So if you hear Cat screaming in the background, he got surgery on his mouth a while ago, and it hasn't quite healed properly. So when he eats biscuits, he eats them at the same rate as he normally eats them, like, argh! And he hurts his mouth. So sometimes he's just sit upstairs going,
how did he hurt his mouth?
Initially, I don't know, actually.
A row or something, is it? No? Or just a random?
No, he's not really a rowy cat.
Yeah.
God, how did he? I'll ask herself.
Yeah. That's the talking cat, yeah?
Yeah. Well, when he's talking, he's usually literally saying, like, Ma, I'm in mad pain, Ma. Mad pain. My mouth was killing me, Ma. When I'm eating those biscuits too fast, Ma. So he's just shouting Ma over and over again. I said it to her before, so I was like, you know what he's shouting, don't you? She's like, what? I was like, Ma'am.
Ma, yeah. Ma, I'm starving, Ma. I'm hungry, etc.
You know what he does, right? He gets the best of food but it's either with cat food you get gravy or you get jelly.
That's right.
Same as dog.
Yeah.
He does a thing where the meat could be the best meat in the world. He just licks the juice off and walks off.
Really? Well, he's doing well off it. They know themselves what they want.
But the problem is his sister, because he's like kind of like burlier.
Yeah.
His sister has to wait till he's finished on the bowls. Because here's the thing: put a 2 bowls, put a 3 bowls, doesn't matter. Yeah. He'll go to each of them, licking all the stuff out them before she gets to go.
Oh, so
she is dried up, flavorless meat remains, and she's happy enough with that. Like whatever, man, whatever.
It doesn't know any different.
Whatever keeps him happy. Like, you know what I mean?
Fucking animals, man. I know at the same time, like we all do the same. Like everybody has their own weird ways for some fucking thing. Eating the fucking like I'm the opposite. You know them Oreos. You see people like only eating the cream out of the Oreos. I don't really like the cream out of the Oreos, but I love the biscuits. I love the biscuit.
I agree. I completely agree. Well, see, America can't do the creamy stuff in the middle without overkill.
It tastes
sugary,
like toothpaste. Like chemically toothpaste, that's epoxy.
I'll tell you, America, if you're listening, your biscuits are good, man. You have good biscuits. Your chocolate is astronomically bad.
So bad. Your chocolate is the worst.
Shocking. Yeah. But you don't even know it's bad.
Yeah. The soft drinks are the best, though.
They have great
some Pepsis, and that's it. And your ice creams are right. But David Bowie is not American at all. Was born in Brixton in London.
He's afraid of Americans.
Yeah, exactly. What did I sing? I actually picked Dead Man Walking off Earthling, which is a fucking stellar album. Which if anybody owns on vinyl, I would buy it off you for a good price.
Linda has it on CD actually.
Yeah, I have it on CD, but finding it on vinyl is a fucking holy grail. That fucking everybody was involved in the album. Fucking Goldie, Tricky, it's fucking mental. That album, drum and bass and jungle album.
There's an amazing one for a comeback reinvention as well.
Yeah, big time.
Bowie.
Jesus Christ. Anyway. So he was always primarily a musician. Like that's all he kind of really wanted to do. Started his music career in 1963, but he didn't really. His first hit was Space Odyssey, which is like fucking 10 years later. I think it was way later. So he kind of floundered for years. But in the early years, in the 60s, he appeared in a couple of movies. I think he went to France and he studied to be a mime. He thought this would be cool on stage.
Oh, is that why he dresses up?
Later on, he done the
stuff.
I think the late 70s, early 80s, he done the fucking the clown. But the clown is like based on Perrault, and he done the stage production called it's called Perrault and Turquoise, and eventually that was turned into a movie. The movie was called The Looking Glass Murders. And so he went on, he done there's a couple of cameos and small roles and walk-ons and shit. He done a bunch of that in the late 60s. But with the 70s, he started getting more and more interested in bigger roles. So he appeared in The Man Who Fell to Earth as an alien.
Yeah, that was his first big one.
Yeah, that was his first big role where people were like, oh, yeah, you're fucking...
I tried to watch that on Channel 4 and like when I was a kid and I was like...
Yeah, me too.
Bored.
Yeah.
Bored, yeah, exactly. Probably is great.
From what I remember of it, it's like Bowie's on it, and you're like, "Oh, dude, Bowie!" But like when you're that young as well, you didn't really give a fuck about Bowie. Not really. Not the way you kind of care about Bowie now. It was someone that like you knew that was on telly that wasn't an actor, and that was a big deal back then. As we've talked about for almost every single one of these cunts.
Or as controversially, I have to admit, like still I'm not a massive Bowie fan. I think he's great, but I'm not. I've never been able to. Jesus, there's some things where I'm like the 90s stuff is my favourite, so there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done another movie called Just a Gigolo, which is a weird fucking movie. But by the 80s, he's one of the biggest musical acts on the planet, right? He's after kind of going down. He had his Space Odyssey and all this fucking Space Odyssey.
Oh god,
it goes back down. Yeah,
it goes back down. For me, what it's like, it's a bit like Queen. I get it way more, and I can enjoy it way more.
Yeah,
but I guess I just feel slightly on the outside of it. I've always felt a little bit on the outside of it.
Yeah,
but he's better than Queen. So
I think Bowie is one of those slightly culty figures, a bit like Tom Waits as well. It's just like a multiplied by 10. You know what I mean? Where it's like everybody likes the big songs and Let's Dance and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? That everybody likes that stuff. But like it's when you start digging around the albums where Bowie's actually kind of exercising.
I noticed that. Yeah,
you know.
Is that instrumental? Warsaw, is that the instrumental?
Warsaw, yeah.
That's
there's some great stuff there. Like it's fantastic artist. By the 80s, he starts getting offered kind of big roles. So people are like, "Fucking David Bowie!" Like is kind of in a little bit of a slump. Like, but he's still like one of the biggest names in music. But like we might be able to get him now. So Tony Scott offers him a role as a vampire in this movie called The Hunger. And eventually they make a bunch of these Hunger movies. He's not in them. I think they made a TV show. They made a TV show based off that movie, The Hunger, as well. I think he might have been involved as like a producer, something along the lines. Yeah. But I know for like, I think the DVD release, they done like an anniversary DVD release of The Hunger, and he turned around to Tony. I was about to say turned around to Tony Hawk. He turned around to Tony Scott, and he said, "Listen, I really hate my accent in that movie." He done like an Eastern European accent or something. He said, "I really, really fucking hate it. Like, will you do me a solid and just get that dubbed over? Like, I've no problem being in the film, but my accent is fucking painful." So they redubbed it, and so that's the version you're hearing now. He done a movie called Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, which I seen years ago. He plays a POW in a Japanese internment camp. It was very, very good. He actually had a cameo. We done like not a minor cameo in a movie called Yellowbird, which is Yellowbeard, which is like a not quite a Monty Python movie, but made by the Monty Python guys for someone else, for another studio. So like it is at its heart a Monty Python movie, but it can't really be considered a Monty Python movie. He turned down a couple of roles as well. He turned down the role of Max Zorin in James Bond: A View to a Kill as well.
That could have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been cool as fuck. One of his biggest ones was in 1986, where he teams with Jim Henson to play Jareth in Labyrinth.
Oh yeah, that's his biggest one. That's not for me, but you know, it is the biggest one.
Yeah, that's when you think of Dave Bowie acting, you think of fucking the Goblin King. Like, you know, I fucking love that film. I hate that fucking song. I can't even remember. Cat's Eyes or something. I hate it. I fucking despise it.
You remind me of a babe.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's so over the top. Like, I'm scarlet for him. I'm scarlet for him in the film. I'm scarlet for him. Like, when I think about him in the recording studio recording it, I'm full glowing for him. Like, I could do a full TikTok about it. Like, how
is that even that different than like Suffragette City or something?
I don't know. There's just something about that song. And it's fact, because when I think about it, I think about him jumping around with the codpiece and all that. I don't know what it is. I can't.
He's always jumped around with codpieces.
I know, but there's something about that film. It's the hair and the spinny balls and the dancing fucking goblin fucking puppets, and I can't do it.
Again, it just sounds like regular David Bowie.
It's just a day in the life of David Bowie. Just, let's dance. Hello, goblin children. Yeah. He played Pontius Pilate in Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. He was an FBI agent in Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah, let's talk about it. No, we can't. I love that. How do we have a Twin Peaks episode? We can't. Go on.
I don't know how you do a Twin Peaks episode.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think so. Played Andy Warhol in, was it Basquiat or Basquiat? How do you pronounce his name? Basquiat.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah,
I watched it and I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name. Again, it's another word I've read my entire life. I don't know how you say it. Biscuit. I don't know how Basquiat. I don't know. He was French or something, wasn't he? So it's Biscuit. So people at home are like saying it right. Obviously played Nikolai Tesla in The Prestige, and he was even in he was in SpongeBob. Gave his voice to SpongeBob.
He also had a video game.
Huh?
He had a video game.
David Bowie had a video game.
Yeah, an entire video game in 1999 called Nomad Soul on the Dreamcast. It was only on the Dreamcast.
That rings a bell.
Him and Reeves Gabriel did the soundtrack to it. I remember I was actually mad into, because that was 90s when I was mad into Bowie in the 90s, way more than any other period. I got that game. I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. Nomicron Soul, I think it's called. Nomicron. Omicron Nomad Soul.
It's about nothing, I assume. It's like Frankie Goes to Hollywood's video game.
Just trying to look for a series.
We have to go to the fucking the manhole to find the pleasure dome.
It's all like, looks like Lawnmower Man.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Lawnmower Man is one of the most overrated films of all time.
It's shit.
Yeah, it's garbage.
You know what I'm going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm going to listen to the Nomad Soul soundtrack with 90s Bowie. I think
that could be interesting. Yeah, that could be interesting. Anyway, that was David Bowie. Like I said, fucking Labyrinth. Labyrinth was a big deal to me when I was younger. I remember when Jim Henson, they done the Labyrinth tour. But it wasn't just Labyrinth. It was like all the Jim Henson puppets. So they toured the world with all these puppets. And I think it was out in like where the fuck was it? Was it not some military base or something? I can't remember where they put in this installation, and you could walk around and see all the puppets from like Labyrinth and Dark Crystal and shit like that. They've done it in Dublin in like the fucking mid or late 80s. I remember going to my parents bringing me to that because I was obsessed with Labyrinth, lad. Obsessed. Really? Oh my fucking God. I have the Labyrinth board game. I paid a fortune for it about 4 years ago. This limited edition Labyrinth board game came out with like the little models that you can paint. So you've got like Jarrett and you've got like the whole shebang. They're all in there.
And like dance, Gareth, dance.
Dance for me, Gareth. Gareth and Jarrett dancing in the Goblin Hole. No, I love that film, but that fucking bit always embarrassed me. I always remember like that bit where he's dancing around in the oak, and like that would always be the time like your mad dad walk in and go like, "What the fuck are you watching? What are you doing?
Do you want to tell us something, son?
No, nothing weird happened. Like I don't have.
No, but like what I'm saying is.
Oh yeah. You have something to tell us.
Son, do you have something?
It was the late 80s. That didn't exist.
Razor videos that are straighter than this.
Yeah, it was so fucking mad. And he's wearing, and the gear he's wearing as well. Like it looks like one of them, like all in one fucking like Wild West miner fucking undersuits. It just has a bit of glitter on it. Like it's only short of having like the big square hole for shooting on.
It looks like. Do you know what I always thought about him in that film?
Yeah,
David Bowie in Labyrinth. It always looks like Tina Turner had joined Duran Duran.
Oh, yeah. So hair is so bad as that's my Tina Turner hair as well, isn't
and it? The big white shirt and the bet on leather, black leather. That to me is just like fucking I don't know. You're simply new romantic. That's just what I think of whenever I think about it. That's Tina Turner in Duran Duran. That's what that is.
Oh, fucking. Anyway, listen, that's David Bowie. The song is Dead Man Walking. It's a fucking savage song. It's a savage album. That entire album is killer. If you're always a bit fucking put off by Bowie singing with Mick Jagger and spinning steel balls around, dancing in his underwear, do that album. That's the fucking album to listen to. Who was your next one?
So I swapped out Lady Gaga again for my next one. Again, Lady Gaga.
Keeps getting the cut, like getting the chop left, right, and centre.
But I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you why. I swapped out Lady Gaga because even though Lady Gaga has an Oscar and a Grammy, like I do like that for this. That's one of my themes for some people on this. I find Lady Gaga's brand of creatively weird, slightly. No, I don't. It's not for me.
Yeah,
I don't. It just doesn't feel real. It feels a bit contrived. The whole thing feels like it's really based on other people, like even Madonna and even Cher. Like Cher was a mad one for the costumes in the 70s with that show. So I always, when I'm watching Lady Gaga, like she came out in a meat dress and then she stood in front of the cameras. And I was like, I don't buy it off Lady Gaga.
I read an article.
I don't think she's that weird.
I read a great article today about the best things that were thrown at musicians on stage. And really? A lot of people we've talked about actually were on like Lady Gaga. I think someone threw like a rash at her or something like that. And David Bowie.
That makes sense. She wore a fucking meat suit.
Someone threw a lollipop at David Bowie and it's stuck in his eyeball. It's stuck in his. He has a bad eye, and it's stuck in his bad eye. And there's a photo of a lollipop with the stick stuck into his eyeball. And there's one Kanye West in Dublin. Someone threw a 50-cent piece at him. And it landed, like, it didn't even go near him. It just landed on the floor in front of him. And he was like, I'm fucking out of here. See you later. And someone threw, Smash Mouth played a gig and someone threw a loaf of bread up on the stage and they stormed off stage. We're like, I'm not having that. See you later.
Yeah, we should talk about what Smash Mouth did. Smash Mouth's gig that they played, the last one, there is nearly 250,000
infections off that one gig. Yeah. Now it's not their fault. That's a big bike rally. They were just the headline.
It was going to happen anyway. I think there was 700,000 people at it. 700 to 900 people at it. That's nearly 1 million.
Yeah.
And but I don't give a fuck. It was Smash Mouth. I don't give a fuck.
Yes, let's blame Smash Mouth. Fuck them. Imagine going to see Smash Mouth. Imagine.
No. Somebody. Shite band. I hate that.
Garbage.
Pedo music.
It is pedo. Them and Wheatus can fucking die in a fire.
I just realised that I haven't actually. We are different.
Who's your next one? You have to tell me who your next one is.
I didn't. Yeah, so like my point was, Lady Gaga felt slightly contrived. The fault that I'm weird and I'm wearing like a veil over my face for this award ceremony. So I just chose who
She does do an awful lot of that, actually, when you think about it. I'm carrying this brick with me to stop female circumcision.
But it doesn't... I just don't feel it off her. I don't actually feel it.
Yeah, shock for shock's sake.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, when you see her in The Star Is Born, that she won a Grammy for, she's phenomenal, but I never get the impression that she's a Lula.
I've never seen that film. So
what I did was I chose someone who is one of the original Lulas in pop.
You definitely did.
Grace Jones.
Yeah.
So Grace Jones is the pre-Lady Gaga.
The original Lula, yeah.
Late 70s, like, with the madness. Definitely.
So mad.
But I will say, I think Cher, out of the pop icons, came with the mad outfits first. It's slightly, I do. Yeah. Definitely. But Grace Jones is absolutely 100% bananas batshit creatively as well. So I had to choose her.
Yep.
Even if she has no Grammys, no Oscars.
Doesn't matter.
Will never have an Oscar. She will probably never have a Grammy either. But to be fair, she has some banger albums and songs that just most of her songs are actually covers. To be fair, she did a cover of Joy Division's "Love Will Tear Us Apart." Not "Love Will Tear Us Apart." Jesus, not Transmission.
I can't remember.
She's lost control. She's lost control.
That's it.
But she's got that albums Island Life and Nightclubbing, which I'm sorry, even though they've got reggae on them, they're still good. She is Jamaican, to be fair.
It's allowed.
It's allowed, exactly. It's allowed. So
gets a reggae pass.
She started as a model because she's absolutely stunning, incredible looking. She's always had that androgynous kind of look. And I think she's one of the first people really that sold the androgynous thing really well. I think she said stuff like before. She said in 19, I think it was 82 or 84, she goes, in the next few years, gender won't even be a thing. Like, we'll all just be one thing. And that's like kind of miles ahead of its time. Well, let's talk about the films she was in, because she has those great albums. I think they are great. I really do. It's weird. It's weird enough for me to like.
So strange.
But she was in Conan the Barbarian.
So good.
A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
And Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. Those are 3 banger films straight off the bat. Like, A Star Is Born, I prefer them to A Star Is Born.
Was it Conan the Barbarian or the second one she was in? I'm trying to remember.
Conan, she plays the kind of mad queen.
Yeah. I thought that was the second one.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, I think it's...
what's the full length of the Conan movie title?
It's Conan the Barbarian is the first one, and Conan the Destroyer is the second one.
Oh, that's the one she's in.
Yeah, Conan the Destroyer she's in, yeah. Which I love it as well. Right. I love it as well, yeah.
Oh, it's not as good, though.
It's not as good, but it's still deadly. Because it's Conan.
Yeah, it's the second one.
Yeah, second. Conan the Destroyer is the second one, yeah.
So, you know what? Lady Gaga's back in. No, Gaga's back in. No, she's not.
Yeah, there was no one in Conan the Barbarian. There was murder over the first Conan the Barbarian movie. Like, no one wanted to make that fucking... Like,
yeah.
No one. The big rubber snake and all. Like, James L. Jones and all in it for like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Like, the only fucking actor of any, like, repute in it.
But any film with Arnold Schwarzenegger was not being well made because they didn't know what they were doing with him. They go, just get him in.
He's just look at him. That's what it was like. Yeah, look at him though. It's like but is it good?
Big, monstrously tall lads just being a film for no reason.
Yeah, the fucking cream
tiny good. So yeah, she was a pop star and actress, but she was a model before all that. She was actually got Dolph Lundgren his first start in films. He was in A View to a Kill as like a
Dolph Lundgren's kind of the male version of her. You think about it.
I wish they had a kid because they went out for 4 years.
They did, yeah.
He was her bodyguard.
He picked another
fucking... When she got him that job, but I wish they had a kid.
He picked another fucking mad yoke to have kids with, didn't he? Didn't he, what's her face?
Bridget Niels?
Yeah.
Bridget? No,
yeah.
I don't think so.
Was he not with her?
No, Stallone was.
I know Stallone was. I thought Dolph Lundgren was as well.
Not in the same... They're in the same film now. It wouldn't have all kicked off then.
Trying to think.
Maybe. He's like a genius or something. But anyway,
he is, he's a professor or something.
she was asked to play Zora in Blade Runner, and the photographer she was working with at the time said, don't do that, that's too Hollywood, that's not for you. And she was like, yeah, no, I turned it down. So she got a flight to Paris that day, and she was on the flight, and she had the script with her. She goes, I'll just read the script, because she turned it down without reading it. She read the script and went, fuck. Ran them back straight away. No, it's been taken, part's gone, taken. So she said in an interview that she travels with no bags. She travels so much, being a model, that's just constantly over for movies and music the exact same. She doesn't pack any bags. She goes, really? I will not ever stand in for a check-in area. She thinks it's a conspiracy to make people stand around airports longer buying expensive shit.
She's probably not wrong.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. But if I was rich enough to just buy everything I wanted when I landed in the country, but what she won't do is she won't buy it from the airport. She used to carry butter around with her in Paris, because in Paris, they don't put butter on the bread.
Yeah.
She thinks that's ludicrous. That's here's a mad one. She has a lifetime ban from all Disney properties.
Really?
Unlike Jennifer Hudson, who started there. Yeah. So she was asked to do a live show at Florida's downtown Disney house. It's kind of House of Blues in 1988. And Disney's House of Blues in 1988. I don't know what they were expecting getting Grace Jones in. Because she took her top off and smoked a blunt. Banned from all Disney properties. She said she doesn't hold it against them. She thinks it's funny, whatever. She just goes, yeah, I'll never be able to go to so she's not from playing. I don't think she's literally allowed back in any of them.
Jesus Christ.
Her last film that she did, now I meant to watch this at the time and I didn't. I think it's from 2008, maybe between 8 and 14, somewhere around that period. She was in a film called Gutter Damarung. Do you ever hear about this?
No.
So this is, she played the devil alongside Iggy Pop, Henry Rollins, Lemmy, Nina Hagen, Tom Araya / Josh Homme. It's a silent rock film inspired by Alice in Wonderland. I remember hearing about this and dying to watch it, and then when something's in development for years, you just forget it.
Of course,
So I will watch that. It's all just instrumental music, no one talking. As far as I know, no one's singing either as well.
Yeah.
All in black and white. I remember looking at pictures. Weird. I remember when it first came out, I saw a picture of Josh Homme with like a rocket launcher on his shoulder, and Lemmy looked like he was leading like what looked like a Nazi army. That kind of makes a bit of sense, whatever.
Yeah.
She wrote her autobiography in 2015 called "I'll Never Write My Memoirs." I fucking love Grace Jones, man. The thing about it is, whenever I see her in a film, especially Boomerang, she was absolutely batshit in that as well. She just has that. I just want to watch more of her, see what she's going to do next. And James Bond, obviously, she was absolutely fantastic. It may not have been a great actress, but she did what she was supposed to do. One of my favourite absolute original nutcases from the 80s. And I just didn't want to spend 15-20 minutes talking about Lady Gaga. So
there you go. This is what you get.
Who's your next one? Is this your last one or your second last one?
No, my second last one.
This is your second one.
This is Queen Latifah.
Yeah, she surprised me at being very good.
She's very, very good, yeah. So Queen Latifah, I picked the song Fly Girl. It's pretty kind of indicative of a lot of her output. She is considered what's called a contralto, which means she's able to sing and rap. So this must be a modern enough term, contralto.
Like Lauryn Hill or Missy Elliott.
Yeah, if you can sing and rap.
I didn't know that was a word.
Apparently it has a word called the contralto, yeah. Born Dana Elaine Owens in 1970. She's actually younger than I thought she was. I know that's bad. I thought she was older than that.
I don't know,
like 1970. She's 11 years older than me. Like Queen Latifah, I would have thought was fucking 20 years older than me, minimum. But however, our debut
70s.
Yeah, our debut album's called All Hail the Queen. Came out in 1989 at Tommy Boy Records. Tommy Boy Records is like in the kind of in the late 80s until kind of the early 90s. Tommy Boy was a massive hip hop record label, a proper huge record label. It kind of got watered down eventually when a lot of the rappers were given subsidiary labels of their own, but like originally Tommy Boy was the fucking like even like kind of the beginning of something like Wu-Tang can be traced back to Tommy Boy with GZA. Right. GZA was the first guy to ever get a record deal. That was part of that group. So the Tommy Boy, and then he was dropped, but they kind of used those contacts that they had. They kind of get the Wu-Tang thing off the ground. Tommy Boy was very important. So her being a part of that, as a female hip hop artist in 1989 is a big fucking deal. So from 1993 to 1998, she had her own. It was like a fucking sitcom thing on Fox called Living Single. It was called. And
I think I vaguely remember.
Yeah, that would have been one of it was probably shown on a fucking Sunday afternoon or some shit like that, like, you know. But yeah, that ran for what? Jesus, that's a decent run, like a good 5-year run there for a sitcom. In the early 90s was pretty fucking solid, 93 to 98. She had done a lot of appearances in movies like Juice. She was in Juice with Tupac. She was in House Party 2 with Kid and Play. Jungle Fever, which I think was Spike Lee. She had her own talk show called the Queen Latifah Show that went from 1999 to 2001 and came back for a year or two.
I remember. I remember actually. Yeah,
that came back. That was cancelled in 2001, but it came back in 2013. I think they done maybe 2 seasons of it. I think two seasons of it, and that was fucking done. She appeared in 2 episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The first thing I remember seeing her in properly, she was definitely, I'd seen all those movies, Juice, House Party 2, Jungle Fever, fucking Fresh Prince. I don't remember Queen Latifah being in any of them, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember her being in any of them.
I can't remember the first film I saw, but I know you're going to say it now.
The first film I remember her being in was The Bone Collector with Denzel Washington.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was something where she was a thief.
Oh, you're probably thinking of Taxi or something like that.
No.
So that was a big one. The American remake of Taxi was one of her kind of pedestal fucking star and role things. But she was in Bone Collector with Denzel Washington, which is a fucking superb film. I love the Bone Collector. It's fucking great. Have you seen that movie? Denzel Washington is like in a fucking
Miley Ray Cyrus biopic, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just haven't shot.
That's the STD Collector. That's the sequel.
That's too far.
She can't even talk anymore. Fucking Bone Collector. Denzel Washington is like has some.
Sorry, set it off.
Set it off. Yeah.
It's 1996. Set it off. Where she's like a lesbian bank robber.
That's right. Yeah. That's one of our parts. Yeah. Bone Collector's Denzel Washington, and he's I think he has like ALS or something like that, and he's stuck in like this weird hospital bed in his apartment, and he was like a mad detective type of dude, and there's like a serial killer killing people around New York or wherever the fuck it is, and he has to like.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's fucking great film. He has to.
Why do I always get mixed up with that? And I'm thinking of Bones. The show Bones.
Bones, yeah. So he has like fucking mobile phones and shit, and he's talking to other detectives and rookie cops that are out in the streets, and he's trying to solve the crime kind of vicariously. Right. Through these kind of third parties. It's a great fucking movie. I only watched it again last year. I enjoyed the shit out of it. She received the nomination for an Academy Award for a role in Chicago.
I'll never watch that. Yeah, that's
no. I will never.
Probably great in it, but I'll never watch it.
Yeah, she was in a great movie actually. I only remember this when I read it. A movie called Bringing Down the House with Steve Martin in 2003.
I like that film.
Yeah, I think
she was great in that.
Yeah,
that's a good film.
That was fun. She was in Scary Movie 3, Taxi, obviously. She was in Barbershop 2. She was in Hairspray. She won an award for Hairspray. I think I might have that written down. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah. She voiced Ellie the Mammoth in Ice Age Meltdown as well, so she's done that animated malarkey. Received
she's so gorgeous.
She is, yeah. She received the star of the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2006. She was nominated for Best Actress at the Emmy Awards for a HBO film called Bessie as well, which I keep meaning to fucking watch because it's supposed to be amazing. She's produced a bunch of shit as well. She produced the TV version of Scream.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever shown over here. It's an MTV show. They made a TV version. I think what they done was after 3 seasons, I think they rebooted the whole thing again. Something fucking weird like that. I think she was brought in. She was brought in to help fucking produce or something like that. She's the first female hip hop artist to ever be nominated for an Oscar, and the first hip hop artist in general to ever get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I have a lot of time for Queen Latifah.
Yeah, she's so likable.
Yeah, I 100% prefer her acting over her music, and I don't know what it is about her music. It's grand, it's fine. It's the wrong type of 80s hip hop for me.
Yeah. I think Missy did it a little bit better.
Yeah, like she's just a lot more.
Not to just put them in the same bracket just because they're female rappers. Some of it does feel the same.
Yeah, no, I know one of the big things with Queen Latifah's albums, especially the first couple of albums, is that they were highly sought after for other producers to take samples from. Musically, they were shit hot. And she's very talented. Like, she had a big she had a big beef with who was it? Was it Lil' Kim? Or fucking Foxy Brown.
Yeah.
She had a big row with her. They were going back at each other. But it was Queen Latifah started the slagging her. Like, she started giving her fucking grief. Like, it's not Foxy Brown came back then with a big fucking dirty, juicy fucking diss track. Queen Latifah was like, what have I done now? Like, I've been rapping about female empowerment and fucking fight the man for 20 years.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And now I've got fucking, I have to call you one a hour. I'm not doing it. So I think that whole thing with it just fizzled out. Because like Foxy Brown was definitely fucking influenced by Queen Latifah. Like, Queen Latifah was like fucking huge. Even when I was a kid, getting started to be interested in hip hop, like, that was one of the big fucking names, Queen Latifah. But I remember buying an album. I think I might have even bought that album, All Hail the Queen, and I was like, I can't do it, man. There's not enough guns and shooting.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want when you're like 13, 14. You know what I mean? You're listening to Eazy-E, Boys in the Hood, and all. And you're like, beep, boom, boom, beep, boom, and you get to this and it's all.
I'm so hard, I'd batter anybody.
Yeah, but then you get Queen Latifah and it's like, sister's going to work, get out. And it's all fucking, all the background singers are blokes, just to kind of, for the juxtaposition of it. And it's, you know what I mean? It's like, all right. Yeah. But as an actress, she's fucking supremely fucking talented. Like,
she is great.
Good. She's so fucking good. And that's my second last one. Who is your last one?
My last one is, I swapped out Justin Timberlake last minute because I didn't want to get down the Disney kid route, just because I feel like they started off singing and acting, and it wasn't an intro. It didn't interest me enough to talk about it anyway. I think Disney kids, it's sort of decided when they're in the cot, maybe even the womb, that they are a flesh bob that are going to be.
Yeah, they're mostly only really interesting when they make a bollocks of their life as well. Like,
well, it seems like these people are just destined to be like, just give me attention, I need it.
Oh yeah.
Always. And
Billy Birdie Joe.
Don't get me wrong, Justin Timberlake is a great actor. Like, he genuinely is, but I can't go pick someone who just got into it, even though he was a singer before he went into the second half of his career as an actor. In The Social Network, he was absolutely fantastic. So I went for Frank Sinatra instead. And I actually prefer Justin Timberlake's music and Frank Sinatra's. No, I do, but we have to have a little look at Old Blue Eyes now and see what's going on there, because we've done Justin Timberlake a couple, possibly before, and we've never done really Sinatra much. Now, like I said, I'm not really mad at the Frank Sinatra music. I'm not a da.
Yeah. So I like a lot of the Frank Sinatra stuff.
Like, I like it as well. I like Fly Me to the Moon. Like, I think I picked that. No, I picked I've Got You Under My Skin for this. That's a phenomenal song. That really is a really good song. But that's grand. And movie-wise, I watched a few, like, as a kid, Frank Sinatra was on the TV, like, all the time. His movies. I don't think he's a particularly phenomenal actor. Yeah. But I was really interested to find out more about him, so I chose my know about Justin Timberlake. And I had a deadly Justin Timberlake song picked and all.
It's gonna be me.
Gonna be me. No, it was What Goes Around. It was like 7 minutes long, so I just picked this one. So let's have a quick look.
Old Blue Eyes.
We did talk about him briefly before. It was a contractual obligation to offer him the role in Die Hard.
That's right, yeah. That's fucking insane.
He was in the original one, and yes. part of the contract was, if they were to ever remake this or make a second movie or whatever, make another one based on this,
he has to get forced refusal. Yeah.
Now this was fucking 60s to the late 80s, 90s, so he was too old. He was like, yeah, obviously you have to offer me. I'm going to say no. Yeah, great.
Imagine how different that film would be. I bet you that film would be savage. I bet you that film would be unreal. Be like Harry Brown or something, but in a fucking skyscraper. It'd be fucking savage.
He should have done it.
Imagine fucking 60-odd-year-old Frank Sinatra crawling through the fucking ducts. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. It's unreal.
What year was Die Hard? 87?
I think it's 86, 87, 88, I'm going to call it. Yeah, I don't know.
Die Hard, 88, yeah. So he's definitely... Like, he'd be dead 10 years later.
Would have been so good.
98 he died in, so that's... No, that's... You can't have that. He wouldn't have been...
Would have been unreal. Would have been unreal.
In his 60s, walking a broken glass half.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The gun on his back and all. Oh my God.
So I know that he is an unreal singer and quite a good actor. He has an Academy Award. He's got an Oscar for From Here to Eternity. 1954 he won that in. So like 30 years, 34 years later he'd be in Die Hard.
Yeah.
He's won 11 Grammys, 4-time Golden Globe Award winner. He's won a Peabody Award, a Cecil B. DeMille Award. He's also got the Medal of Honor of the State of Israel, which I think Krulcon won.
Nick Cave's getting one of them soon as well.
Nick Cave's getting one.
I got a new pair of pajamas yesterday. I'm wearing them now and I'm mad itchy, man. I don't know there's something going on. They're made out of fucking... I just keep... I can't have to tell somebody.
I'm actually quite itchy. I'm quite itchy because of the pollen. That's why you hear me sniffing a lot. Well, the problem is the pollen count has been... Because my Cyborg thing... Dyson
your fan, yeah.
It's like the pollen is very high today, Paul. What I did was I drank really hoppy beer before I started this, and I'm sniffing and dying like a puddle. So Sinatra embraced like the whole kind of tough guy, working class Italian, guy, and he was really good at that. But he was actually friends with a lot of mobsters.
Oh yeah.
And not only that, like Willie Moretti was his godfather. He's a notorious boss of the Genovese crime family. So he helped Sinatra's career in much the ways the press group helped Fontaines.
We've connected Die Hard to the Fontaines DC, like.
Yeah, he had like a big cash injection. He pushed very hard. In fact, he was in had a contract with Tommy Dorsey to do a film, and he wanted to do something else. Yeah. And I was like, no, absolutely not. So we were already stepped in, and we're going to have a little conversation over here in the back of this car, So what happened was then that exact scene sort of appeared in a Godfather, if you remember. Like the whole thing, the Mario Puzo novel that was turned into Francis Ford Coppola, I think.
Yeah.
And fucking Sinatra was not happy with that, because that was the rumor that Sinatra had, his family had put the squeeze on anyone who stepped in the way of Sinatra at all, and pushed him out really far, to get him as far as he was. Now, at the end of the day, Sinatra was going to do it anyway.
Yeah,
that voice is insane. It's not like they're pushing out some garbage fucking. It was the acting section, which he wasn't particularly phenomenal at.
Yeah,
that the mob kind of gave him a bit of a boost on. So a funny story about that was Mario Puzo met Sinatra in the 70s. They had they found themselves at the same party of a rich person. Someone goes, Frank, this is Mario Puzo. Frank's like, yeah, I know who he is, yeah. And just went back to eating his food. And your man goes, so anyway, he goes, don't fucking talk to me. I know exactly what you do. Put me in that film. You made me look like a fucking idiot. And apparently screamed, just started literally losing the blood, screaming at him. Really? He's a hard, Sinatra was a fucking hard bastard at the end of the day. So yeah, that's one thing I was like, that's kind of cool. Let's talk about the cool shit that I actually started to really like Frank Sinatra when I found him. In 1990, he told Donald Trump to go fuck himself.
Really?
That was interesting. Yeah. So Trump had hired the services of Frank Sinatra to play at his casino. He'd also hired Sammy Davis Jr. But what happened was, when he got the bill, or the proposed bill, he was like, absolutely not. Now, Sammy Davis Jr. was so close to Frank Sinatra. I can't even... I'll explain it a little bit more later. But he'd also just been told that he had cancer. So he was doing his last few gigs. And Donald Trump said to Sinatra's manager, just take fucking Sammy Davis Jr. off the bill. I don't want him anymore, and I'll pay this amount for a thing. So Sinatra got back on the phone and said, you tell Trump to go fuck himself, or I will. Like, give me his number. I couldn't get his number. Grant. But here's a weird thing. Like, although Sinatra would be kind of, they did make some pretty fucked up jokes about Sammy Davis Jr. on stage.
Yeah, he was he was famously the butt of a lot of jokes, like
the butt of some fucking grim fucking jokes. Yeah. But he defended him off stage like massively. And apparently, a lot of people said this. Like a lot of people. I read up with this today because I remember something about it. I was like, hang on a minute. Wasn't Frank Sinatra one of the kind of unlikely champions of equality back in the day? So him,
I'd believe it.
Him and the Beatles were. They both refused to play to segregated audiences. But not just that. There was one time when they were headlining a place in Vegas. I'm trying to find the name of it now. The Copa Room. That's what it was. And your man said, we can't have any black people here at all. It's a high end place. And he goes, I'm not playing it. And not only that, I won't play it now. I will never play it again. Yeah. So they changed their rules for that. Another time, the Rat Pack were playing some hotel. I'm trying to find the name of that hotel. It's a different one. And after Sammy Davis Jr. came out of the pool, they drained the pool.
Wow.
And he said, I'm never ever playing here again. And they were like, well, no, it's just naturally what we do. If ever we have like an African American artist, we just take all the water and put like, fuck off.
Fuck me.
I'm never playing that here. He had a mad fucking traumatic birth, apparently. Like a fucking mad traumatic birth. So he was born in like Hoboken, which is like part of New Jersey. That's quite a tough enough place. He was born blue and not breathing at all. So
and he kept it up. Mad looking fucker.
He was born like aggressively with forceps and all, and they thought he was dead. They put him on the kitchen counter. The doctors went to try and save his mother. The grandma picked him up and stuck him under the sink, the cold water in the sink, and he woke up and started singing.
Jesus Christ!
Fly me to the moon. So
fly me to the blue.
The FBI had a foil on him for years.
Yeah.
But they knew he was connected to the thing. In the 50s, when his career started to wane, he tried to kill himself. I didn't know that.
Well,
he put his head on the stove and turned the gas on to try and inhale presumably all the fuck. I don't know how that works. Does that work?
Head in the oven is the classic one. I don't know about over the stove. The head in the oven is one one.
Yeah. His manager found him anyway, lying on the floor crying his eyes out, and he was like, "Look." So he made 3 more suicide attempts after that.
Fuck. I know anything about that.
When he was with Ava Gardner. And the last one was he was the first person to have a concept album and a box set all rolled into one.
Ooh.
Like he started the idea of a concept album and the idea of a box set.
Yeah.
So it was the thing called The Voice of Frank Sinatra, which was only all of his love songs. So it's kind of concept in terms. He only chose those ones. And it was a set of like 48 RPM records, 8 songs each, and the equivalent of $30 today.
Yeah.
But it still went to the top of the charts. But it was the first time anyone had released like a lump of records in one go, a big thing. So he died in 98, and every year on his birthday, the Empire State Building lights up all blue.
Ah, deadly.
All blue, yeah. Like I do like Frank Sinatra. Like I'm not mad into.
He's not on the rotation, like, but he's on. You're not turning him off. That's the way I am.
No, like, he's got 8 million Christmas songs.
Fuck all that, man. Just see Frank Sinatra. Just get like the best of Frank Sinatra. That'll do. You know what I mean?
Just the song I picked, Under My Skin, it's
amazing. Jesus Christ, it's so good.
So, who is your penultimate and last?
Yeah, last one is into the films. My last one is Gordon Matthews Thomas Sumner, aka Sting.
Sting. We talked about his child a while ago.
We did.
You know what? He's surprisingly all right as well.
He's not bad at all. He has a particular style he can do, and as long as he sticks to that, everything will be fine.
Tantric acting.
Yeah, exactly. I picked Invisible Sun. It's my favourite Police song. It's my favourite song that Sting's ever been involved in. I love it to bits.
Yeah. Even over the Shaggy stuff?
Yeah. I don't know, that Shaggy album's particularly good. I actually tried to listen to Spirits in the Material World earlier, and it's just weird off-kilter reggae. It's real weird, man. I might allow it. I'm telling you, listen to that song. It's so weird. It's like half reggae. It's like they played it and then they chopped out half the music, so you just get this It's mad.
It's like Hotel California, the song that was reggae, but it took it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like reggae.
So the Police were obviously fucking huge. The Police went from 77 to 1985, and then he went solo in 85 to kind of now. Between his solo career and the Police, it's Jesus. The awards are bananas. 17 Grammys, 3 Brit Awards, a Golden Globe, an Academy Award. He won a BMI Award for Every Breath You Take being the most played song on radio ever. So Every Breath You Take is the most played radio song of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yep. He's an inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He has a CBE from Elizabeth II and something called a Polar Music Prize. I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's probably if you've got a song on both sides of the hemisphere.
Something like that. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Released albums on both sides.
Yeah, between solo stuff and the Police stuff, he sold over 100 million albums worldwide. That's a fierce amount. Yeah, that's a fierce amount of music. His first acting credit is Quadrophenia in 1979.
He was quite good in that, actually. Yeah.
Then he went on. He done the mockumentary "The Great Rock and Roll Swindle" in 1980 about the Sex Pistols. He was in that as well. He done. I think it's a TV show called Artemis 81. I could be wrong. There could be a movie, but I think it's a TV show, like a sci-fi thing. The big one for him that everybody remembers is Dune in 1984.
Yeah, and they've released just a new Dune trailer.
The new trailer came out the other day. I watched it. It looks fucking great. I'm particularly interested.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
The David Lynch one, much like Bowie was in Twin Peaks.
Exactly.
That Lynch moment, yeah.
So yeah, Dune in 1984. He was in the Adventures of Baron von Munchausen, which
that's a great film. That's a Gilliam film. Yeah, Gilliam linked right back to.
There's a million links here.
Tom Waits. Yeah.
We could do a whole other podcast on how almost everybody in this playlist is somehow connected.
Oh, we could, yeah.
To share. He's been in The Simpsons. He's been in Ally McBeal. He's been in The Vicar of Dibley. He was in Bruno. He was in Zoolander 2. He even voiced a character in Captain Planet.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
In the IRA episode?
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He was
actually quite good in that as your
man's star. Yeah, it was 1998. Yeah. He hasn't really done a fierce amount. He's done a few bits of bobs since then. He was involved in 3 Broadway productions as well. So I think
was he in some film called Subway as well?
Oh, it's fucking. You know what? Like I said, I went through and I cherry picked a couple of roles. It's not the biggest list of acting credits in the world.
No, but it's better than picking something that obvious.
Yeah, exactly. The obvious ones. Can you imagine doing Will Smith one? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, absolutely not.
I couldn't do Will Smith and I couldn't do Lady Gaga.
It's just it's too obvious. We're going down a little sidetrack here, but I think he definitely is. He's 100% a musician who just likes to tread the boards every now and again. Like every now and again, he just wheels himself out acting retirement and goes, fuck it, let's let's do a film or do a TV show, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, he was in the French film Subway. I remember that box art, savage box art. Yeah, Luc Besson film. Yeah.
Luc Besson is where you will connect to Queen Latifah as well, because she was in the American version of Taxi, which is originally a Luc Besson movie. So we can connect all of them somehow, some way. We can fucking do this. It's fucking 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We tried to do that before. Remember? We've done a full episode.
It's called a Magical Mystery Tour. We tried to link the song on to the next one. It's a bonus episode. If you're on Patreon, you'll know all about it.
That's right. Yeah, suck my balls. That's the end of that's Sting. Invisible Sun. Nearly that whole section there was almost an excuse just to put Invisible Sun.
But you'll know that like our later ones, people listening will know our later ones are not always the most fleshed out ones because we're tired, and you're tired now. This is fucking 2.5 hour podcast.
It is. It's midnight as well. Yeah. I want a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Is what I want.
The old ones.
No, I bought Dunn's ones, which are the same as the old ones. I wouldn't buy real Cocoa Pops anymore. They can fuck off. I only buy Dunn's Cocoa Pops. Now, there's 2 kinds. There's 2 kinds of Cocoa Pops and Dunn's. There's one that's like real cheap, like 70 cents. Don't buy them. And then there's the Dunn's own brand one. They're like $1.15. And I swear to God, it's being transported back to like 1988. Which are Cocoa Pops flavors.
Because with this whole lockdown thing extending like far beyond I thought it would.
Yeah.
No, I'm not complaining about it. I'm not like one of those fucking Ben Gilroy fucking anti-mask dopes. But I need something in my life, and those might be it.
I think that's the thing for you, man. Yeah. I think those Dunn's Cocoa Pops are the ones for you. Anyway, that's our podcast this week. We are back doing something on Saturday. I don't know whether it's TV or radio. I'll figure it out. Because it looks like I'm going back to work. I don't know. It looks like I'm going back to work on the 24th this month. At the moment, I don't believe it. I don't believe it until the 20th. I won't believe it until the 20th, because cases are going up again. And personally, I hope I never have to go back to work. I'm loving this. Partially loving it. I do want to go back to work, but not really. Not really. I will if I have to.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's it for this week. If you like what we do, you can go to patreon.com/Lost Art Podcast. You go to ko-fi.com/Lost Art Podcast. You can go to lostartpodcast.com, and you can go to facebook.com/Lost Art Podcast. All the links are in the feed on your podcast app. They're all in there. Read it. And the playlist will be out in a couple of days, and we'll be back with a fresh podcast for you next week. Thank you. Until then, good night.
Thank you. Good night.